So hi everyone, this is Drastic Ed from the Achievement Squad, coming at you with a 100% walkthrough for the indie title Draugen. And in this video I'm going to show you how to get all of the achievements and trophies. This is a full walkthrough as well, so there is a spoiler warning in effect from this point onwards. I will show you the game from start to finish. I'll also try to keep commentary to a minimum because it's a very narrative driven game. Now, the hardest achievement to obtain in this game is to exhaust all conversations with Alice, or Lissy as he calls her. But I will show you at which point that you need to trigger conversations to make sure that you get it. It can be very easy to miss, so yeah, just follow along and I will notify you when you need to incite conversation with the character. To also help with that, I recommend that you guys go into your settings menu and you switch on the subtitles as well as the closed caption, so you know that who is speaking, and you can do that straight from the main menu. Hop in and you can see the subtitles. There is also a link that I will give you to a Steam guide for all of the conversations that happen as well. So there's a text-written guide that helped me out with this, and it's credit to the individual that wrote that guide. So from this point onwards, yeah, full spoiler warning in effect, and let's get the show on the road. Now, in the beginning, whilst you're on the boat and you're speaking to Alice, you will receive a prompt on the screen. The prompts don't actually change any of the outcomes of the game. There is only one ending. You just need to select the one that you think is best suited to allow you to progress forward. So these decisions pop up quite regularly. So I'll speak to you guys when we are on the shore.
The water's cold.
It's a fjord. You're not going swimming.
Boo. You're such a wet blanket, teddy bear.
You know I don't like it when you call me...
Edward Charles Harden, Esquire.
Will you promise to behave on land?
Don't I always?
Lissy, promise.
Oh, piffle and phonus balonus, Teddy. You ought to know better than to ask. Yes, I'll behave. I'll be a proper young lady. I shan't run or climb things or laugh too loud or call anyone old bean. Aside from you. So, do you think we'll find your Betty in, what did you call this village? Gravewick? Groovewick? Greywoke? It's an odd language. I don't much care for it.
Grovik. Yes, I do.
Why here? What's so special about Greywoke?
She never said, but knowing my sister, something drew her here.
But how can you know?
I just do. In her letter, she wrote about...
But that's months ago. She could have gone anywhere.
Without writing or telegraphing her editor in New York, she wouldn't do that. Betty's...
The cat's pajamas, the bee's knees, Little Miss Perfect.
Alice, you're talking about my sister.
Fine. I'm sorry. Elizabeth Sadarb. We all love her dearly. And Teddy Bear? Edward? We will find her. Betty's fine. Why, we'll see her as soon as we get to shore. She'll shower you with kisses and berate you for coming all this way from Hanover, Massachusetts to the middle of positively nowhere Scandinavia way just to chase her down. Everything will be Jake, old fruit. Is that it? Is that Groovewoke? It looks so peaceful and beautiful and so desolate, like a place built for ghosts.
Finally. I don't think I could do this for much longer.
Can't you row any faster? I'm getting frightfully bored.
How about you take over, Alice?
You slay me, Teddy, old bean. Was that thunder?
Still distant. The boat will be in safe harbor by the time the weather arrives.
So you say. But I say put your back into it, because we're sitting ducks out here. Quack, quack.
Okay, when you get to the shore, Alice is going to ask you to point out the location of the farmhouse. Just a quick tip up this one, don't do it just yet, because there's some of the conversations that you need to incite by doing nothing.
It's so quiet. Where is everyone?
Probably working. I know it's a foreign concept to you, but that's something normal people do.
Hardy har har.
The Fretland farm is up the hill somewhere.
Up where?
Okay, so this is that point. So what you need to do is you need to look up to the top of the hill and you'll see the pointing option in the distance. Just pretty much keep looking at it, and she's going to pretty much make 3 statements like, where is the farm? Knock knock Teddy, who's there, kind of thing. And there are 3 particular lines that she will recite. Make sure that she says all 3. And yeah, that also then make sure that you've got the conversations for that particular point.
Up where?
So for the 3 lines that we're referring to, is the last one is up where. Now you need to walk forward, and we're going to basically walk away without telling her where the actual farm is. So keep walking forwards, and eventually you'll spin around and she'll say, where are you going? You need to do this 4 times until she tells you off and tells you to come back here. So she says, Edward, I'm talking to you. Feels like I'm getting into trouble myself. Turn around again and keep walking up the hill. The character will automatically turn around and look back at her. And once you've done that 4 times, that will then give you all of the dialogue for walking away whilst you haven't told her where the farm is. Once you've done that, you need to turn around, you need to look at the farm, and then you need to hold down the A button to point at it, and you'll be prompted with another dialogue option.
Hot dog! Let's ankle!
Hold on. Let me read the letter from Mrs. Fretland first.
I'll meet you up there, old sport. I want to explore. Last one.
Wait. The ground's muddy. It's easy to slip and fall. Walk slowly and watch out for...
Don't be a wet blanket. A little mud never hurt anyone.
Fine. Just stay close.
As long as you keep up with me.
Dear Mr. Harden, we would like to extend an invitation to visit our home. Trouble to hear of your sister's disappearance. No news to share. You'll find our farm on top of the hill. I hope I got that right. Look forward to seeing you here in October. Yours faithfully, Anna Fretland. Well, I'm here. Where are you? Did you make it to Grovik, Betty? And why did you pick this forlorn hole under the mountains? Also sprach Zarathustra.
So now Alice has run away and she's got up to the top of the hill. We are going to need to do some right bumper prompts. So it'll tell you how to do this on the top of the right hand screen to get 5 different dialogue options from Edward, and then another 3 from the folks at the bottom. So the dialogue options are Lissy with a question mark, Lissy with an exclamation mark, Alice with an exclamation mark, where are you, and where are you, Lissy? So there's 5 different ones in total, and there are 3 different responses you'll get back from Alice. I'm up at the farm, I'm by the farmhouse, I'm waiting for you at the farm. So keep tapping the right bumper until those conversations have happened. Once that's happened, you need to start making your way forward to the little circle dot on here. We're going to rest 5 times along the way up on the hill, and we're going to get lost 3 times on purpose. So rest at the rock.
Just taking a break.
Hurry up! Storm's getting closer.
Okay, so the next resting location after the Draugen sign is the bench that is just in front of you. So once you get near it, rest down your suitcase just for a few seconds. And now we are going to trip our next set of dialogue, and this is some dialogue for going off the wrong path and not following the main story. So as you're coming up this hill, you're going to see kind of a little path that you can go down to the right. Turn to the right here, and you want to start making your way down towards the bridge that you see in front of you, and keep doing this until Alice reaches out to you to say that you just need to stick to the path. Once you said that, you want to turn around and you want to start making your way up to the next little waypoint here. The rock on the side by the flowers is your resting point. This is resting point number 3 out of 5. Now that you have the resting point, you want to keep making your way up the hill, and in front of you you're going to see some houses. As you get closer to those houses, you want to follow the road in the middle towards the end, and this is going to get you the second piece of dialogue about going off track. Once you have that, you want to turn around and start walking back. So once you've been acknowledged as old sport, turn around and you want to start making your way up the hill, and you want to stick close to the wall as you're going up. As you can see along the way, you're going to see the next resting point. This is number 4 out of 5. So stop by the wall just here on the corner, pop down your suitcase and just chill out for a few seconds. And once you've done that, you want to turn and look to the right and continue up the hill. As you get near to the top, you're going to see the Norwegian flag that is in front of you. However, we don't want to go up to the gate just yet that's got the waypoint on it. You want to take a left and you want to continue down the hill, and you want to go along this pathway until Alice says that she's getting bored of waiting. This is the third piece of dialogue about taking too long to get to the top. Turn around and then you want to make your way up to the gate, and you want to rest on the gate to trigger some more discussions.
You're not the one carrying a suitcase.
So now that you're here, just go inside the gate, but don't go up to Alice just yet. We want to trigger 5 more pieces of discussion. Hit the right bumper, and you need Edward to say, "Lissy, are you here?" Alice, "Are you here, Lissy?" Lissy with a full stop, and then Lissy with a question mark. So keep hitting the right bumper until that is all been cleared out.
Yeah?
Are you here, Lissy?
Hello.
Are you here, Lissy?
Hello.
Alice?
Yeah?
Lissy?
No need to shout.
Alice?
What is it?
Lissy? Are you here?
Okay, so once you've done that cycle, don't go all the way up to Lissy. Just walk forward a little bit just to trip a small discussion, but don't go up to the porch just yet. So as you walk further forward, she'll say something.
What took you so long?
And she'll say, "What took you so long?" And at this point, you want to turn around and you want to back out through the gate. And we're going to go far away on the right bumper a little bit more again. So exit out of the gate and just go down a little bit of the hill. And then when you're outside of the gate, we need to hit the right bumper. And Edward is going to say, "Lissy," with a question mark. Lissy with an exclamation mark. Alice, "Where are you? Where are you, Lissy?" And she will respond with either Edward, "I'm over here, Teddy, this way, right here, Teddy." Just make sure you hit the right bumper a few times just to make sure that you've got all of that dialogue. Over, hit the right bumper just to be on the safe side. Once you've done that, you want to make your way back up to the porch. And she's going to ask you a question, and you need to pick one of the options. Now, don't go straight inside the house because there's more dialogue to be obtained before you go in, but go up and speak to her and make your selection.
Where are you, Lissy?
Over here, Teddy. So this is it, huh? Nice digs. But seriously, where is everyone?
Up in the mountains, maybe.
Herding goats? Are they goat herders? I took them more for fisher folk.
The rain's picking up. We should get indoors.
You first, old bean.
Now, before you open the door, hit right bumper twice and she'll say, "What are you waiting for?" Or "Go on, don't be shy." Once you've done that, you want to knock on the door and say, once you've knocked on the door, you want to open the door afterwards to get into the house and bag yourself an achievement.
Mrs. Fretland? This is Edward Charles Harden, the American. We've exchanged letters.
Maybe they went on holiday and left the door open. Give it a shake and a rattle.
I can't just barge into their home.
It's not a crime if you're invited.
I'm coming in. This is Mr. Harden. Hello? Is anyone home?
This house is as empty as a bird's nest in December. Hey, you want to check out the upstairs?
Once you're inside, you need to pick the option either no or why.
I'm a guest. Why would I start poking around every corner of the house?
I don't know. Maybe they're playing hide and go seek. Well, I didn't want to go upstairs anyway. It's creepy.
There must be a sitting room on this floor.
When that's over, the discussion's over, you want to start making your way up the stairs to trip even more discussion.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, so you get to peek upstairs? Unfair? Told you. Empty is an empty nest.
After you come down the stairs, look to the left and you want to go into the kitchen.
This is the kitchen. Hello? Anyone there?
Then after that, you want to try and exit through the front door twice. So do this twice to
It's
unlock
raining
2 pieces of dialogue.
cats. You really want to go back out there? You'll get soaked, Teddy.
Once you've done that, turn around and you go into the opposite room and you want to exhaust the discussion that appears on the screen with Lissy about the
this
family
is
when she goes over to the photo.
Charmingly rustic. The Boston Beaumont would pay a pretty penny for this setup. I thought foreigners lived differently. This is almost like an American home.
People are people wherever you go.
Thanks, Proust. Look! Family pictures. They must be the, what did you call them?
The Fretlands.
Right. Anna and John?
Johann.
This is honestly not what I'd pictured. They're very presentable. Not at all like turnip farmers.
They're not turnip farmers. That must be Johann Fretland, master of the house.
What makes you think he's the
When
master
prompted, you'll
anyway?
need to select all
It's
3 options
1923,
about the
Teddy,
family
old
and talk
boy.
about all 3
Need to
family
go.
members in the picture.
Old Johann's a bit wooden, isn't he? Like someone put a stick
They're
up his
posing for a
up his
photograph.
rear end. I say, loosen up, Johann. I'm sure you two stiffs will get along famously. I'm guessing their daughter is the master of this house. She's cute as a button. I can't wait to meet her. She's guaranteed to be more fun than you. Johann went and found himself a delectable bride.
Alice, please.
What can I say? She's a minx.
Anna Fretland is a respectable woman. Her letter was courteous and professional.
Didn't you say she was a city girl? Must have been awfully hard to adjust to life in the sticks. I can relate.
Hanover isn't the sticks.
Says you.
You'll now need to press either right bumper or R1 to cycle through
Betty
6
might be with
dialogue
the
options.
Fretlands,
So
wherever they
these
are.
are: Betty might be with the Fretlands wherever they are. The flag outside was flying at half-mast. It will get dark soon. Betty would have fallen in love with this house. She adores the rustic. Do you regret coming here with me?
Someone died.
Did you find anything interesting? So press right bumper to cycle
soon.
through all of those
Where will you
discussions.
sleep? There must be a guest bedroom.
I'm not using their beds without invitation.
We can disguise ourselves as bedwear. They'll never know we're here.
Betty would have fallen in love with this house. She adores the rustic.
You're the Betty expert.
She once begged me to buy an entire set of pastoral dining room furniture for the house.
It's not like she's ever there.
Do you regret coming here with me?
Are you kidding me? I never miss out on a grand adventure. Besides, you wouldn't survive a day without me, Teddy Bear.
Did you find anything interesting?
I find everything interesting.
Once this has been exhausted, you want to make your way into the next room and then straight into the room onto your right hand side just here. And you want to hit the right bumper, and Edward is going to say Lissy with a question mark, Lissy with an exclamation mark, Alice with an exclamation mark, where are you, Lissy? And she will respond with three things. In the sitting room, I'm in the sitting room, I'm in the sitting room, Edward. Make sure that you hit the right bumper to ensure you've got all of those dialogue options.
Lissy?
I'm in the sitting room, Edward.
Lissy?
I'm in the sitting room.
Lissy?
I'm in the sitting room, Edward.
Lissy?
I'm in the sitting room.
Alice?
In the sitting room.
Alice?
I'm in the sitting room.
Where are you, Lissy?
In the sitting room.
Now make your way back into the sitting room, and you want to examine the wedding photo to the right of the family photo.
Wait, is that... Are they... Who's... They're all twins. All of them.
That's Johann and Anna Fretland.
There are two of each, Edward. Two of each.
Frederick and Margaret. Twins marrying twins.
My mind's reeling. This is just too adorable.
May 26th, 1899. They'll be celebrating their silver anniversary next year.
On the table behind you, you will find a letter that needs to be inspected, and you'll need to exhaust all three possible discussion options
Dear
with
Mrs.
this one.
Fretland, I trust this letter finds you and your husband in good health. I wrote to inform them about when I'd be arriving. So where are they?
Do they even have calendars? Maybe they don't know what day it is.
Despite appearances, we haven't gone back in time. They have calendars. I asked about Elizabeth.
And they hadn't seen her?
Anna, Mrs. Fretland, promised she'd write if she heard anything. There wouldn't be many female reporters from New York and Western Norway.
Why would she come here in the first place?
Betty always has her reasons. Home feels very far away.
Are we feeling melancholy again?
I've never been this far from Hanover.
It's about time we got you out of that dreary old house, Teddy Bear.
Oh, the thought of boarding that infernal ocean liner again.
I quite enjoyed it. So much room for exploration and mischief.
So many opportunities for seasickness and claustrophobia.
Don't be a Debbie Downer. I'm sure your tummy will be better behaved on the return voyage. And you'll be craving enclosed spaces after a week in this wide-open wilderness.
Once you've done this, you want to make your way over to the window and talk to Alice. She's looking out the window, and there'll be two things that you can discuss, which is the weather in the village.
Jensen's, all of them.
You can see the whole village from up here.
Do you want to go sightseeing?
Tomorrow. It's getting late, and the rain's not abating. It's really coming down.
How about a quick run in the rain?
You can't be serious.
You're already a wet blanket, Teddy Bear. It's not like you'll get any wetter.
Once that discussion is over, go to the right window and look out the window, and then look to the distance. You'll see the church, and you want to inspect the church to start another discussion.
There's the Stave Church.
Do you think that's where they've all gone? Maybe there's a very popular funeral.
The flag was at half-mast, but no sign of life out there.
Did you hear something?
When this is done, turn around and you will find a book on the back shelf that you need to make your way over to. And once the dialogue is clear, inspect the book.
Or flesh-eating ghouls waiting to pounce?
Alice, honestly.
You're the one who reads Poe to me. Don't blame me for having an active imagination.
The books are all in English.
Isn't that a bit odd?
Mrs. Fretland is Scottish, though she grew up in Owlsund.
Have you been secretly communicating with Johann's winsome wife, Edward, dearest?
Certainly not. She was the one who wrote me, because Mr. Fretland's English isn't
I
as...
was only joking. Lighten up, old sport. Don't be such a pill.
Once you've looked at the book, head to the right into the fireplace and you will find the next item to be discussed.
What are you looking at there?
A book.
Strange place for a book. Unless it was a terrible book that deserved a good burning. What's the title?
The cover's charred. Christmas 1922. To Ruth, from Simon. Why would someone burn this?
Like I said, maybe it was a terrible book. Is Simon one of the Freddylanders?
I don't think so. They only have the one daughter.
From the fireplace, turn around and make your way into the room on the right hand side. You need to look at the photograph on the table and you want to go through all of the discussion options that you have here.
Well, those boys look proud as peacocks. What does it say there? Groovy?
Gruben, the mine.
Maybe that's where everyone is. Digging for precious jewels in the Stygian abyss.
From what I learned of this place during the brief stay in Ålesund, the iron mine shut down 20 years ago. Frederick and Johann Fretland, founders of the Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
They're the spitting image of each other.
Twin brothers and business partners.
And they married twin sisters. Adorable. Who's the boy? He looks related to the other two.
The mine was only in operation until 1902. They must have lost a fortune. An iron mine wouldn't pay itself off in 5 years.
Can we go spelunking? Perhaps we'll find trolls in the abyss, and we can steal their ill-gotten gold.
There was a cave-in. It'll be unsafe.
Boo.
To the right of that photo, you'll find some newspaper clippings. You want to read these and then also go through 3 of these articles.
Johann Fretland exits Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
So the brothers parted ways?
Johann sold his share to focus on farming.
That must have put a damper on their relationship.
Tragic accident befalls the Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
What happened?
The mine collapsed, killing 3 workers, including Arne Fretland, Frederick and Johann's younger brother.
That's awful. How old was he?
19.
He might be the boy in the photograph.
Operations were suspended after the accident. Foreign investors out of Frederick Fretland's mining company. Dire financial consequences for Fretland, who must have had a difficult time after his brother Johann Fretland pulled out earlier this year.
Johann was smart to exit when he did.
The timing is curious, like he knew something was about to go awry.
From your newspaper clippings, turn around and make your way into the next room, and you want to look into the mirror twice to unlock 2 different dialogue options.
Oof, that's a grim sight, old bean.
I'm exhausted and soaked to the bone.
Let's get you to bed.
We'll wait for the Fretlands. It's only courteous.
Careful you don't fall through the looking glass, teddy bear. That's my domain.
When you're finished looking at yourself in the mirror, you vain person, make your way back into the sitting room and you want to hit the right bumper, and we're going to go through the dialogue options of Lissy with a question mark, Lissy with an exclamation mark, Alice with an exclamation mark, where are you, Lissy? And she will respond with, I'm in the sewing room, in the sewing room, I'm in the sewing room, Edward. So hit the right bumper just to make sure that you've got all of those dialogue discussions out of the way. Keep spamming it if you're not sure if you've got them all.
Lissy,
I'm in the sewing room, Edward.
Where are you?
I'm in the sewing room.
Lissy?
In the sewing room.
Lissy!
In the sewing room.
Where are you, Lissy?
I'm in the sewing room.
Alice?
I'm in the sewing room, Edward.
Lissy?
I'm in the sewing room, Edward.
Okay, now you need to make your way back into the room where Alice is. So head in here, take a right, and then you want to open up the cupboard on the left. You're going to pull out a mannequin figure. Do not inspect the mannequin figure straight away. We need to hit the right bumper 2 more times to get some more discussion out of Alice. Sorry, 3 more times. He will say, Lissy, Alice, Lissy.
I'd know it anywhere.
It doesn't look like anything to me. It
She
just
bought it
looks
in
like...
Bloomingdale's the Christmas before last. When she came home that year, she showed it off, dancing around the sitting room until I got dizzy watching her.
I think you're misremembering. She couldn't make it home that year. Again.
No, you're wrong. I'm sure she was there.
Whatever. It's not like you pay any attention to me when Betty's around. I might just as well be a ghost.
Lissy? Nothing. Alice?
Once you've done that, you need to inspect the mannequin to pin a picture of your sister to it.
Lissy?
What?
Forget it. Look, it is her scarf. It even smells like her perfume. Shalimar.
But what if that's not...
She's here. I'm finally going to find her.
That's great, Edward, really. I wouldn't want you to get your hopes up. I mean, where's everyone gone to? Something's not right, I'm telling you. Teddy? Edward, what's wrong?
Lightheaded, that's all.
You're having another spell. You know what happens when you exert yourself. Sit down. That's an order from your commander.
Yes.
And when you are asked to sit down by Alice, do not sit down. You need to stay stood up. She will turn around and say these 4 things to you. What are you doing? Come sit down.
What are you doing?
You'll feel better after a short
sit
rest.
down.
Come sit. Stop being so stubborn, Edward. Come here. Sit down, teddy bear.
You'll feel better after a short rest. Come sit. Stop being so stubborn, Edward. Come here. Sit down, teddy bear.
Once she's gone through those 4 dialogue options, sit down and go to sleep.
What are you doing? Come sit down.
I just need to catch my breath. Just for a moment.
I want you to lie down. Lie down and close your eyes. It's been a strenuous day. What with the rowing and the dragging of the suitcase up the hill.
Well, what if the
I'll keep an eye out. I promise. If they come home, I'll wake you. Now, lie down, close your eyes, breathe deeply.
I'm just going to...
Shh.
Okay, so we're going to wake up now and it's going to be the nighttime of day 1. However, certain things aren't going to plan, so we need to go outside and do some stuff.
Elizabeth?
So once you're awake,
Is that you?
you need to make your way back to the front door.
Betty? Lissy? Lissy, are you here? Hello? Hey, who's there? Betty? Elizabeth? Wait!
Before you exit, you need to go
Someone outside.
upstairs,
It might be Betty.
and then you want to head outside just after
You
that.
here, Lissy? Lissy? Are you upstairs? Are you in here, Lissy?
And when you get outside, we're going to want to spam the right bumper again to go through these dialogue options. Edward will say Lissy with a question mark, Betty with a question mark, Alice with an exclamation mark, Alice, where are you? Are you out there, Betty? Can you hear me? Where are you? Elizabeth with a question mark. So that's a grand total of 8 different options. Once you've gone through those options, you want to follow the waypoints down to the river. So the little circles that are marked on your map. So come out of the house, walk down, and you're going to find some form of footprint in the floor that you need to inspect.
I'm not alone.
From that footprint, you want to make your way over to the main gate that you came in through earlier, and you want to exit out. And then your next waypoint is going to be set in front of you, so head towards the thing, the little circle, and eventually you'll need to climb over the wall.
Who goes there? Wait!
Once you've gone past that wall, make your way to the next checkpoint and you'll eventually come across a house next to some bushes. You want to follow it around, a twig will fall down in front of you, and it takes a little while for this to fix itself for some reason. Once the little dot appears, you'll be able to climb over. Go left at the house, and you want to keep making your way forward until you run into a goat.
Hello?
At the goat, take a right, and you want to make your way forward, and eventually you are going to fall down a slope.
Betty, is that you?
At the bottom of the slope, pick up your glasses. And then you want to make your way over to the waypoint. And in front of you at that waypoint, you're going to find some clothes hung up on a what looks to be a crab fishing thing. So make your way forward. You'll find that just along the way here. Inspect the clothing, and then Lissy will make an appearance, and you'll have to pick one of the 3 dialogue options presented to you. Once that's over, you'll be moved into the next day, and you'll bag yourself your first achievement. Not your first achievement, an achievement.
What about the boat?
It's gone.
The boat? What? How?
Maybe you didn't secure it properly.
I pulled it up. I don't know. I thought I tied it securely, but... Where did you go?
Out? For a walk. It stopped raining and...
Did you see Betty?
Did I see... What are you talking about?
I think... Betty? It was Betty. It was her. It must have been her. I saw her face in the window, and she vanished into the dark towards the sea. You really didn't see anyone?
I haven't seen a single soul. Are you sure it was her and
Yes.
not...
I mean, I saw her face, and it looked like her.
Well, if it was her, why did she run away?
I don't know. It's getting dark. Back to the house. Then tomorrow.
Tomorrow's another day, Teddy Bear. We'll figure it out. Right now, let's get you cleaned up. Look at you. You've got mud all over yourself. And then you really need to sleep. You must be exhausted. Come on.
Okay, so it's now day 2, and you want to get up. So get on up, take a left, and you're going to see Alice do a cartwheel past the window. You now have the option of hitting the right bumper, and you're going to say Lissy question mark, Lissy exclamation mark, Alice with an exclamation mark. Where are you? Where are you, Lissy? And she'll have 3 responses for you as well, saying, I'm right outside, I'm outside, outside Teddy. So hit the right bumper until you've got all of those.
Where are you?
I'm outside.
Where are you?
Outside, Teddy.
Where are you?
Outside, Teddy.
Alice!
I'm outside.
Lissy?
I'm right outside.
Where are you, Lissy?
I'm right outside.
Lissy?
Outside, Teddy.
Lissy!
I'm outside.
Alice?
Outside, Teddy.
Where are you, Lissy?
I'm right outside.
Lissy?
I'm outside.
And we now need to make our way across to the front door. So go across the living room. Now, before you go out the front door, you want to make your way up the stairs. At the top of the stairs, take a right. And directly in front of you, you're going to find a piano. Hit play, and you're going to bag yourself the achievement for Piano Man. You just need to sit at the piano for a few minutes and play out some sick tunes. Once that's done, stand up and you'll get yourself the 100G achievement. So we now need to exit the building. So turn around after you've got your achievement, that is. So turn around and you want to exit out through the same door you come in. You want to go down the stairs, which is just to your left, and then head out of the door. And you'll have some dialogue with Alice, and you'll need to pick one of the options.
I just about given up on you ever waking up.
I was looking around the house.
So we're okay with that now? Noted. Sleep well?
I dreamed of Betty. She was in the garden, and she called for me.
How about you, Lissy dearest? Oh, you know me, old fruit, wide awake at first light.
The Fretlands didn't come home, did they?
They did not. There's no sign of anyone. Aside from last night's Mistwalker.
I've been thinking about that. I'd just woken up. I was groggy and the mist was thick as pea soup. I don't know if I saw what I thought I saw.
You were chasing a ghost?
I didn't get a good look. I'm not even sure there was anyone there.
Oh, there must be someone here. And I'm not talking about ghosts. Or goats. What was it you said yesterday? Maybe they're looking down on us from the mountaintops.
I'll take a gander. The Fretlands will be home soon. And Betty's here. I know it. I feel it.
If you say so, Teddy Bear. Have you had your noodle juice yet?
I'm not rummaging through their cupboards.
You'll be a pill without your tea and toast, old bean. We need to get you sorted.
I'm not hungry. First point on the agenda. Find the natives.
A mission! Hot dog! I'll scout ahead. I'll meet you down by those houses.
Let's uncover your secrets, Grovik.
Now that Alice has run away, it's time to grab some more dialogue with her. And you want to hit the right bumper so until your character says Lissy with a question mark, Lissy with an exclamation mark, Alice with an exclamation mark, where are you, and where are you, Lissy? And she's going to respond with 3 of these pieces of dialogue. Right by the village houses, I'm by the village houses, by the village houses, Edward. Just make sure you're hitting that right bumper until she says all of those items. Now before we get out of the garden, we want to actually go back into the house to go get our first sketch, which is part of one of the secret achievements.
Alice?
Right by the village houses.
Okay, so head on in, so enter. And then when you go up the stairs, go back into the piano room, so top of the stairs and take a right. And you want to look at this kind of dining table that's here, and you want to sit on this dining table chair, not on the dining table, which is what I nearly said. And you're going to start to sketch, just like Life is Strange. And he's going to draw up a picture of the bed that's just in front of him. You'll need to sit there for a couple of seconds. Once that's done, you need to get up and you can take a look at your journal if you want to see the picture. But this is the drawing number 1 out of 9 that you need for the achievement. And when you're done here, we want to head back downstairs and we want to exit out of the front door. Now, before you go out of the garden, we want to take a right. So head down the stairs, take a right, and you're going to see a well that is just to the side of the building. You want to go sit on the well to get sketch number 2 out of 9. Alright, now we need to go get sketch number 3 out of 9. So exit the garden and you want to start making your way down the hill and take a right when you get the option to do so. And you're going to find this very well built wall along here. And about a third of the way along you're going to find a place that you can sit down. I actually think it's more than a third, probably about half. When you got the option to sit down, you want to sit on the wall and draw a picture of the little village. Once you're done with your fancy sketch, take a left and you want to start making your way back to the main road. So as you were going back up to the house. And don't go up to the house, but take a right and keep following the wall around. And you want to start making your way down the main path. But before we go see Alice, we're going to take a left at the bottom of these red flowers just here. And there's some stone circles that you can just see in front of you. You want to make your way over to the stone that is on the right hand side. Sit down and you want to do your next drawing. This is number 4 out of 9. Now that you're done with the goat, you want to turn around and you want to head back to the main path. Now, Alice is actually hidden up in the tree, but don't acknowledge her just yet. You want to walk past her, and she's going to say 3 pieces of dialogue. She's going to say, "Up here, Teddy. Hey, eyes up here. Have you gone blind or been? I'm in the tree." Once you said all of those 3, you want to turn around and look at back at where she is. So press the right bumper to locate her. Turn around and you'll see that she's in the tree. Make your way over to her and speak, and she will give you a choice.
It's such a beautiful day. You could bottle and sell this air in Boston. It's frankly medicinal.
It's chilly.
That's all you have to say? It's chilly?
You're not cold.
Why would I be?
I thought you were scouting ahead.
What do you think I'm doing? Vantage point, like on a pirate ship. I can probably see our house in Hanover from here.
Did you check those buildings?
Knocking on doors isn't a scout's job, old bean.
Once that discussion is over, make sure that you hit the right bumper so you get the line of dialogue that says there must be someone around.
Only one way to find out, old sport. Did you check all the houses?
So now we're going to need to go knock on all the houses. So make your way over to the first house. You want to knock on the door and then you want to try and open it afterwards.
Hello? Anyone here?
Why, hello, Mr. American. Please come in for a cup of tea and biscuits.
You're not helping. Also, they drink coffee here, not tea.
Savages. No one home?
Now turn around for house number 2 and you want to make your way on the inside of this one.
Hello?
You'll just walk straight in, you won't knock.
Who's there?
And when you're inside, turn to your right for a document that you need to read through.
September 21st, 1923. Vi desperate. Lissy, found something here. Escalated from words to stones. Blood has been spilled. The curse haunts us all. There is no hope left in good Sforlata. Good. God. Right. In this God-forsaken place. The death of the Jiminy. Death of the children was the end of Grovik. Whatever remained of our souls departed with them. You should see this, Lissy. The letter just trails off. Was never sent.
Now this is over, you want to turn around and you want to make your way outside the house, and you're going to go talk to Lissy about house number 3.
Did you see this door closing?
It was just the wind, Teddy Bear. You're as skittish as a pussycat. There's one more house. 3rd time's the charm.
And when that's over, you want to go knock on that door in the 3rd house, and like you did with the first one, just open the door just to see if anybody is inside.
Unless they're playing hide and go seek, I'd say that's a no.
And once you've done that, you want to go back over to Alice, and you're going to get your next dialogue prompt.
3 strikes, you're out.
I don't think anyone's been home for a while. Someone painted the word traitor on one of the doors. And there was a letter. It sounded foreboding.
Still think everyone's up in the mountains, herding goats?
I still don't understand what happened to the boat.
Why don't we investigate? Maybe it's even drifted back to shore by now.
Unlikely. But I would like to know how it got unmoored.
Well, it's a bright and beautiful day, and we have nothing better to do.
What on earth are you doing?
Handstands, Teddy! My record is 2 minutes. I'm working on 3. Just go on ahead. I'll catch up.
Betty,
Once that discussion has come to an end, you need to press the right bumper 7 times, and you're going to say the following things. Betty would have taken plenty of constitutionals here. She loves the outdoors. You'd have thought someone would have shown up by now. The weather is favourable today. It's quite peaceful. What are you up to? What are you doing? And have you seen anyone? Exhaust all of this discussion before we go to our next location.
Even from up in the mountains. Maybe there was a spell or curse that made them all invisible.
Honestly, Lissy.
Or maybe we are the invisible ones. But then we would see them, wouldn't we? No, I think my original thesis is more likely.
The villagers turning invisible is the more likely thesis.
Do try to keep an open mind, Edward, darling.
The weather is favorable today.
I did a little dance last night, appeasing the weather gods. Thor, in particular, was mightily impressed.
Was he?
Promised to back off with the thunder and lightning for a spell. And don't you know, he proposed to me.
Oh, of course.
But I told him I'm not into gods. I prefer jazz musicians.
It's quite peaceful.
If no one was around, I'd strip naked. The earth would delight in my bare feet. The wind would savor playing with my hair.
Is that so?
I don't know, I just like being naked. But not when you're around, Teddy Bear.
What are you up to?
Delighting in the little things. They're like dew. My heart is the morning, and it's refreshed by their presence.
Where do these strange thoughts come from?
Oh, you're a funny egg, old bee.
What are you doing?
Looking for a white rabbit in a waistcoat. Have you seen him?
A white...
We'll follow him down the hole, Teddy. Or maybe we already did.
Alice in Wonderland, I see.
So wonderfully apt.
Have you seen anyone?
Not a single soul, alive or dead.
And now we're going to make our way over to the church. So turn around from where Alice is, and you want to make your way over to the closed gate. And you want to open that gate up, and you're going to follow the main path to the top till you reach the church you looked at from the window earlier, or say yesterday in the game. When you reach the top, there's a notice that you need to inspect on the notice board.
July 24th.
And once you've done that, you want to go into the cemetery.
The accident at the mine this past summer. No services after that.
Once you're through the gate, just hang a right and you will find an option to sit on the wall. So I turn around and go to the left for some reason. But sit on the wall and you will draw your next sketch of the church. Now once you're done with your drawing, you want to walk forward a little bit and Alice is going to appear and you're going to get your dialogue prompt of unlikely or perhaps.
But look at the soil. These are recent burials.
You're right.
Do you think this is where everyone's gone?
This can't be everyone. Besides, someone had to bury the bodies.
Fair point. Well made.
Something did happen. Several people died in a short period of time.
How? An accident? A mass murder? Spanish flu?
I wouldn't want to speculate until I've learned more.
I can speculate for the both of us.
Well, Betty's not here. I'm gonna keep looking.
What about the church?
Head into the church to trigger the next discussion. And there's also a sign in front of you that you'll also need to inspect to also trigger more discussion.
Or the goats from getting in? What does that say?
God is not here.
Now it's worth noting this piece of dialogue seemed to be buggy for me on my first attempt at the game. I recommend just hovering around in the church for a little bit, just run around. But when you exit, it should cause Alice to talk about baptisms and weddings.
So much for that. No wedding, no baptism, no funeral.
There must be people somewhere. Where are you going?
For constitutional. To breathe some of this salty sea air. You go on ahead. I'll find you.
So now that we've done with the church, we need to exit via the gate. Now as you're going down the hill, you're going to need to hit the right bumper and to get some more dialogue. So he's going to raise the question of Lissy, question mark, Lissy, exclamation mark, Alice, exclamation mark, where are you, Lissy? And she's going to respond with, by the church, I'm at the church. I believe it's also along those lines. I'm up at the church is also the other one. So once you've done that, you want to keep making your way down the path. And we're going to go across to the water area where there's a waterfall. And we're going to do our next sketch. So to get there, head out. And when you're out of the main gate, take a right and go between the village houses again. And make your way to the end of that street. Once you're at the end, you want to keep walking forward and you're going to see a stream in front of you. And just to your left, there's actually a waterfall next to these pink plants. And you'll be given the option to sit on the rock that is by the stream and you will draw the water wheel that is at the top. Once you're done with that, you just need to get up and wiggle the stick and we're going to go for the next sketch. So yeah, so this is a sketch of the waterfall and then we're going to make our way on to the next sketch. Alright, from here you want to start making your way to turn around 180, making your way down towards the same path you walked up. This is one of the benches you took a rest on as you were going up in day 1. You want to sit down here to get your next sketch drawn up. Okay, once that's over, turn back and start making your way towards the stream again. And there is a stone bridge right at the bottom just here. We want to cross over the stone bridge and we're going to go up to the gate just here. And we're going to trigger our next discussion option, which is a choice of dangerous or trespassing.
For traitors.
Cool. Want to jump the gate and explore what's on the other side?
It's not safe.
Oh, horse feathers. You may be the most boring man in this country. Where's your sense of adventure, old sport? Don't you want to see where these tracks go?
They lead to the old mine, and no. I've had enough adventure on this side of the fence. Besides, they wrote no trespassing for a reason.
You're such a terrible bore, Teddy Bear. I'll wager 1,000 clams you'll jump this gate at some point, if you believe Betty's on the other side.
Frederick Fretland. Who are these traitors he refers to?
So now that you're done talking about the mine, turn around and you want to make your way back to the stone bridge. Cross on over. And then just to your left, you can't quite see it straight away if you're going too quick, but there's a wooden bridge. Start making your way across this, and Alice is going to start talking about being a pebble.
And they can't speak, but they see and feel everything that happens to them.
There's something very wrong with your head.
Wouldn't that just be awful? Why, I'd be a murderer.
Once that dialogue is over, we want to make our way down to the train track just here.
What's this?
Now you can't actually just interact with the track just yet,
What?
as we're waiting for Alice to teleport to the train tracks. And once this little discussion is over, you want to talk about the train tracks that she's walking on.
I was just checking for a sense of humor. Still nowhere to be found. Where do these tracks lead?
To the mine. Where else would they go?
I don't know. A castle up in the mountains, where the frost giants live. And this is how they receive their monthly offering of meat from the villagers. Goat, I hope.
When the tracks are inspected, look to your right and you're going to find a minecart. You want to use the two options of minecart and overgrown.
What's this for?
Bringing the ore down from the mine before it was loaded onto boats.
So, diamonds? Gold? Or just boring old silver?
Iron ore.
Or what?
Rock, which contains iron
I know.
deposits that...
Okay, Edward. I don't understand why they just leave this here. Like an altar to adversity.
To that right of the minecart, there is a stone memorial that is just stuck up like a spike.
Bad luck if they moved it.
So yeah, it's just on your right hand side. So once that discussion is over, head over and inspect it. And you can get two options out of this. So read it. Once he's read it, look down to the bottom and then look back at the top for some more dialogue prompts.
3 men died when the mine collapsed in 1902. Georg Hatlestad, Niels Frambu, Arne Fretland.
See, this is what working a regular job. Did you say Fretland?
The younger brother who was mentioned in the article. The newspaper said the accident forced the mine to shut down.
What does any of this have to do with us?
I still don't know why Elizabeth came here.
And you think it has something to do with this mine?
Or with what it did to the village. Maybe. He was just 19.
How long had he been working in the mine? That's too young for a dirty job like digging into rock.
We're in the real world, Lissy. Most teeners don't have the luxury to idle away their days with games and witty repartee.
Ouch.
Once you're done with that, you want to follow the track up and then take a slight right off of the path, and eventually you're going to come across another stone that you can sit on for your next sketch. Now that the sketch is over, get up and you want to make your way back towards the tracks where Alice is walking on. And at the end of the track you're going to see some stepping stones. Go across to the other side and you want to make your way down. On the right hand side you'll find a boat. Inspect the boat. Do not move away from the boat because you'll lose your options for dialogue here. This is one of the points where I failed on my first try.
Not without Betty. Besides, the wood's rotted through. This boat isn't seaworthy. It's curious.
And for the record, you can only pick one of the dialogue options, but if you move away, you lose both of them.
Short-sighted. How would they fish? Or get anywhere at all?
Once you've done that, you want to make your way over to the pier, and on the pier you'll find a knot that needs to be discussed, and then you also need some dialogue options around the location of your boat. So have a look, and then Alice will come over and talk to you, and when prompted, pick your choices.
Nobody cut it. I guess the knot could have unraveled on its own.
Didn't you say you used a sailor's knot?
I'm a scholar, not a fisherman.
So who took our boat? A ghost?
I believe the tide took our boat.
If you say so. But then who were you chasing after last night? A ghost?
I don't know. It was probably all in my head.
Once this is done, turn around and you're going to find a crate behind you, which you can sit down and draw your final sketch. And this will bag yourself the achievement for doing all of the 9 sketches that you can do in the game. You can also come back to them at the last part of the game, the last section of the game, and also do them there. However, I just grabbed them now because it's kind of in sync with getting the rest of the discussions at the same time. So once that's done, we are going to progress forward with the story after you have the artist achievement. And to do that, we need to take a look to the left, and there is a convenience store that we need to make our way over to. So it's at the top of this hill just here. And as you get close to this one, in the right window you're going to find a photograph, and you need to talk about the photograph itself. So, yep, in the right window as you can see it here, exhaust all discussions on the photograph. Also, once you're at the front of the house, press the right bumper to trigger another dialogue discussion about living here and not being such a bad thing.
And milked. Probably not in that order.
Perhaps living here wouldn't be such a bad thing.
You changed your mind about the goats?
The fresh air might do me good.
You'd be alright with it just being the two of us.
I'm no stranger to isolation.
Truer words have never been spoken, old fruit.
Fretland and Son.
How do you figure?
It's on the sign above the entrance. And on this photograph. Frederick and Simon Fretland. The older gentleman is clearly Mr. Fretland's twin brother.
Twins are confusing. If this was a dime novel, they'd be switching places at some point to confuse the coppers. Damn you, twins!
Simon Fretland. Frederick's son.
And Johann's nephew. See, I'm getting the hang of this. Simon. That was the name in the burnt book. So Simon is Ruth's older cousin.
Once you've spoken about the photograph, look up to the top and talk about the print on the front of the shop.
Frederick Fretland and Son.
Johann's brother and nephew.
The Fretlands have their fingers in all the pies, including the only store in town.
Also the post office and telegraph. There may be something that'll lead us to Betty in there.
Or at least to some canned sardines. We need to get you fed, old bean.
From the front of the store, take a left and make your way over to the notice board, And you want to read all 3 items inside the notice board and use all prompts on the screen when asked to.
On July 24th, in the village church.
For something that happened 20 years ago?
It still affected their lives. The telegraph is out of order.
Well, there goes my plan. NOSOS.
This was 2 years ago, but the notice is still up.
How can it take 2 years to get something like that fixed?
If they couldn't afford it? Or couldn't get anyone to come fix it?
Well, this place really is off the map. Here be dragons. Or Draugans, I guess.
The ferry route is no longer operating.
Rats!
Mrs. Fretland already informed me in her letter.
I know. Still warrants a resounding rats.
I wonder why it stopped running.
Look around. How many people live here? 20? 30? That can't be enough for a ferry route.
Things got quieter after the mine closed down.
They need to move on and find something else to put their village on the map. Tobacco farming, maybe.
They must have been so isolated, with no easy way in or out.
Aren't there boats?
If they're like the boats along the beach, they wouldn't get far. You saw how much work it was to cross the fjord. And if the weather's bad...
It can't be healthy, being so isolated. Cooped up inside, reading the collected works.
Yeah, all right. I get it.
This village is basically you, Teddy.
I said all right. The ferry would have made the trip here much easier.
And you wouldn't have had to pay that farmer a fortune to rent his boat.
I had no choice.
We should keep his boat, if it comes back. Bring it with us to Hanover.
And do what with it exactly?
I don't know. Grow parsley in it? Use it in the pond? Forget it. Stupid idea.
Once you've worn out the discussion, make your way over to the front of the convenience store, and you want to try and get in, but that is not possible.
Applesauce.
Why lock any doors? I can't imagine they have a problem with punks and hoodlums.
The sign says they're closed, but I thought maybe... Hello? Are you open? Is anyone there?
Can't you just bust down the door? Locks be damned.
Breaking and entering, I will not.
Now you'll see to your left a crow bashing into the window. You want to look through the window to spot Betty's hat.
Is that? Lizzie, come here. It's Betty's hat. She was here. She could still be in there. Betty? Betty!
Are you sure, Edward? I mean, it's just a hat. Is it even a hat? I'm not sure.
I know my sister's hat, Lizzie. I have to get inside.
What about the breaking and entering part?
I could care less what they call it.
Once you've looked at the hat, you want to spark 3 discussions, so 3 white bumper clicks, and you want to say, I need to get inside if Betty's in there. How do I get inside? I'm out of ideas. So run through those dialogue options. Now we don't want to go into the store just yet also.
Been around the whole store?
I'm out of ideas.
What about the windows? There's usually an open window.
Before you go into the store, walk away and start going back towards the farmhouse. And Alice is going to say, where are you going? Aren't we meant to be looking for a way inside? When she says, aren't we meant to be looking for a way inside? Make your way back to the shop. And when you're back at the store, make your way to the right and you'll find an open window at the back that you need to interact with. So press A on it to start a discussion and then press right bumper twice afterwards to get the discussion. I'm not sure how I feel about climbing through the window into a locked store. And right, so I'm doing this.
I'm not sure how I feel about climbing through a window into a locked store.
We're on a different continent. You know what they say? What happens in Sweden stays in Sweden.
Norway. Right. So, I'm doing this.
Okay, and keep out the window until it's actually open.
It won't budge.
Nah, don't be a milquetoast.
Well, it's stuck.
Attaboy, Teddy. You can do this.
actually breaking. Whoops, daisy.
Oh my, Teddy. You're such a sap.
Get back on your feet and then climb through the window. When you're inside, make sure you let the discussion roll all the way through so you don't miss it. This is one of the mistakes I made. I skipped the discussion by accident.
A cat burglar would, by definition, enter a building on a higher floor.
The state of this place.
Oh, Betty.
Edward.
I hope you weren't here when...
Is this... blood?
Not necessarily human blood.
Well, that's alright then. What does it say? Barn murder? Someone murdered a barn?
And then you need to hit the right bumper twice to have the discussion. I'm not sure how I feel about being in here.
Ridiculous.
And they really did a number on this place. Once you've done that, next to Alice, you're going to find a locked door. Make sure you go over and inspect it.
One of their own.
Anger and fear trump civility. Damnation. The hat's in here.
Calm down, old boy. Anyway, how's a hat going to help us?
Who knows what else is in here? There could be more clues.
Once you've inspected it, hit the right bumper and he'll talk about finding a key.
To the store. I'm sure we'll find a way through that door.
The key must be here.
You know, you're better at finding things than me, Teddy Bear.
The key must be here.
You know, you're better at finding things than me, Teddy Bear.
Then on the wall you need to inspect the word barn murderer, or baby murderer, or child murderer.
Child. And murder, that's...
Child murderer. Edward, they murdered a child?
Someone thought so.
Probably the same someone who vandalized the store.
Once that dialogue is over, turn around and you'll find a photograph on the wall behind you that you need to investigate.
It's the same photograph as in the farmhouse.
Johan's gone. At least, I assume he's the one who's been... snip.
Frederick clearly did not want anything to do with his twin brother.
Once you've inspected that photograph, head back towards the window you entered via and look underneath the counter and you're going to find a list of the shop owner's nemesis.
Why would Frederick keep a list of what he calls traitors?
What did they do to him?
Cross him in some way. Why else keep a list of undesirables?
From that list, you want to turn to your right and you want to go into the cupboard area just here. And then straight away on your left, there is a cupboard that you need to open up. You need to inspect the key hooks first. Do not inspect the note. Inspect the key hook first and then read the note afterwards.
Looking for keys.
Your life of crime continues.
The keys are all gone.
Some thieving thieves beat you to it. Rascals.
There's a note.
Is it written in Viking runes? What does it say?
It's from Simon. Yai put it means I put. Knuckle is key. Casa. I don't know what that word means.
He put the key in the casa?
Casa. I wish I had my dictionary. The note's addressed to his father.
So the key was moved. But where to?
Somewhere safer. Or more convenient.
Can we really trust your translations? You only started studying a month ago.
I spent the summer reading, and I had a lot of free time on the ocean voyage.
Come on, how much could you possibly pick up in a few months?
You know my mind, it's a sponge.
Once the discussion is over, hit the right bumper and he's going to talk about the key being in the casa.
Whatever that is.
Once you've had a quick discussion on that, just to the left of Alice you'll see a little investigation point. Or you've got, sorry, to your left you've got the actual drawing of Simon and Ruth. From that drawing, turn around towards the door, and then on the wall you will see a kind of like a pigeonhole thing. So just to your right here. And you want to inspect the unsent mail that is there.
Policeman never
And
said-
once you've inspected that, turn around and look at the telegraph machine on the table behind you.
And they received my letter from July.
A couple of months. Perhaps the world forgot about Grovik.
Out of order.
Why hasn't it been fixed?
Perhaps there wasn't much demand for it anymore.
And you want to go outside and you want to look at the cash register. You want to hit on the cash register and it's going to give you the option to look at the CASA word and then hit the open button. The first thing you must do is look at the money and not the key. So open the cash register, money first, and then the key afterwards.
The vandals weren't here for the money.
I think money was the last thing on their minds.
Wasn't there supposed to be a key?
Here it is.
Now that you have the key, hit the right bumper twice and you're going to say, I have the key and I wonder if this key works. Make your way over to the door and inspect the door to go inside. When you're in, you want to grab the hat off of the letter just here. Do not pick up the letter just yet until I tell you to do so.
Teddy, I'm not sure
Betty
that's...
was here, and not long ago.
Okay, but if that is her hat, what's it doing in a locked storeroom?
And now that you've got the hat, you want to hit the right bumper twice to trigger the two discussion items. Why did Betty leave her hat in the store? There must be a reason her hat is in this room.
So, what now? If this is a breadcrumb, where's the next one?
There must be a reason her hat's in this room. Why did Betty leave her hat in the store?
You keep saying she left breadcrumbs. Maybe the hat's a crumb.
There must be a reason her hat's in this room.
Okay. What's that?
Now that those two dialogue options are over, you want to turn around and you want to read the letter that's on the table to trigger the next sequence of events.
I'm not sure my translation will be... Johann, you... Nectar. Refuse. You refuse to speak to me, so I write this letter instead. It's from Frederick Fretland to his brother. Simon did not... Bloody hell. Simon did not murder your Ruth. He was fond of his cousin.
Ruth. Ruth is the daughter of Anna and Johann, which means the little girl in the photograph at the farmhouse. Oh, Edward. The Fretland girl was murdered. This is simply awful.
Simon was working at the farm while I tended to the store. I would have seen him had he passed on the way up to the cliffs.
They thought Simon killed Ruth. His own cousin.
Ruth was... what's that word? Playing. Ruth was always playing on the rocks below the church. She must have fallen by accident. The note ends there. Frederick never finished it. And Johann never read it. Not that it would have made a difference. If Johann thought...
The mob showed up for Simon. His father would have tried to protect him.
September 7th.
Once you've read that, you want to turn around and you want to make your way over to the window where Alice is looking and you want to talk through the discussion about rocks.
Isn't the church right above us? Edward, come look at this. That's the cliff. Right there. The one in the note? I bet you 1,000,000 clams.
Where?
See for yourself.
I guess that could be where...
Let's check it out.
No, Lissy, wait.
Now that the discussion is over, you want to make your way outside of the store. You want to unlock the door at the top, and then you can use the handle at the bottom. Once you're outside, you want to take a right, and we're going to make our way down the slope even further. So head out. take a right and make your way down towards the water, and you'll get notified where Alice has kind of run off to. She's on top of the rocks. Keep tapping that right bumper as well to keep some of the discussions going. I don't think these discussions count. But yeah, there's also me here trying to experiment with something where I choose to turn my back on her. However, I did it too soon. So make your way along the waterfront, and there is a rock that you can climb up on the right hand side.
Whoops-a-daisy.
And for this next part of the discussion, when you get near Alice, you want to look away from her, and she's going to tell you off for not looking at her when she's talking to you.
You're being morbid, and this is a distraction. I'm here for Betty, not because some girl got herself...
You insensitive brute. You're like the Tin Woodman, no heart. Please look at me when I'm talking to you. You know, you've grown cold and mean in that horrid study of yours, with only books and bugs to keep you company for years and years and years. There are other people in this world, you know. It's not all about you. You're going to do this. If not for Ruth, then for us. We're going to figure out what happened to the poor girl. Together.
Now turn around and you want to look to your left and you're going to see some flowers. At this point, do not inspect the rock. So look to your left and you'll find some flowers that you can investigate. They're all dried up.
That's been here a while.
Didn't you say it happened over a month ago?
You'd think her family would have replaced it with fresh flowers.
Now I have a little bit of a hard time here. Don't look at the rock. To the right of the actual plant there is something called damage, which is broken plants that have fallen from the fall. Inspect those.
This bush. She must have landed on it when on her way down.
That's ghastly, Edward.
From the damage you want to look up and you want to inspect the option fall.
It's a long fall. Far enough to crush the girl's skull.
Edward Charles Hardin.
What?
Now that that's over, you want to look at the rock, and you want to move the rock out of the way to get a baby doll
on that rock.
thing.
There would have been plenty of blood.
That's awful. I think there's something behind it. Can you move the rock aside? It must be Ruth's.
Where's the head?
Maybe the killer also decapitates dolls.
Hold on. This pin. This is old. Very old. Looks like something from the Viking era.
We are in the land of Vikings.
This could be 1,000 years old. It does not belong in a child's doll.
Who cares? Ruth is dead and you're obsessing about a rusty old pin? Let's go further up. Maybe we'll find more clues. Come on, old sport. It's not far.
Can you wait just 1 minute so that I can catch my breath?
Now we continue up the cliff face, so run up the hill, hold down the right trigger to move faster. As you get near to the top, you'll see that Alice is kind of looking out over the ledge, looking down to investigate the fall. Hit the right bumper once you get closer to her to talk about can you see where she fell, and then you want to interact with the ledge afterwards.
It is awfully chilly.
One second.
Oh, Teddy Bear. We need to take you out walking more often.
So, the girl fell from up here.
Was pushed, you mean? Can you see where she fell? Can you see where she fell?
Certainly high enough to kill a child.
If I had to go, this would be the way to do it. Soaring through the air like a bird.
And landing like a rock. If she fell headfirst on that rock, she'd have died instantly.
Edward, honestly.
You wanted to learn more. This is you learning more. She hit her head and fell into the bush where I found her doll. Happy now, Alice?
I'm not. What was she doing up here in the first place?
Playing? She was a child. Children play in dangerous places.
There must be more to it. Let's find out where this path leads.
No, absolutely not. I don't have time for this nonsense. We're running out of daylight, and Betty's still... You're still out there. Lissy, slow down.
Once that discussion is over, you want to keep making your way to the top of the cliff until you find a man hanging from the tree.
Worth the risk of falling and breaking something. Lissy, are you there?
Teddy,
My word. Look away, Lissy.
is this what happened to the villagers? They killed themselves?
It's one body. Let's not jump to conclusions.
What about those fresh graves at the church? There were at least half a dozen of them. Did everyone just die?
They're not necessarily connected.
Oh, come on.
So once the discussion is over about the hanging corpse, you need to hit the right bumper twice to trigger the discussions. You shouldn't be here, Alice, and there is no reason to stay here. Once you've done that, you need to inspect the sign on the hanging man.
You shouldn't be here, Alice.
I've seen dead bodies before, and ghosts don't frighten me. I'm more concerned about you, given what
Stop.
your parents... You need me. I'm staying.
There's no reason to stay here.
We're not leaving him hanging. What does that say?
God forgive me.
Don't suicides go to hell? Isn't that what your father said?
And you want to exhaust all discussion topics.
Sorry. Who was he? One of the Fretlanders?
It's not Johann or Frederick. And he's too old to be Simon.
Do you think this has something to do with Ruth? Maybe she came across the hanged man before she died, and it scared her. So she ran,
No.
and
This happened later.
there's some consolation in that, I guess. Maybe it's the killer. The guilt ate him up, and he offed himself.
That's just speculation with no basis in fact. There's nothing more to do here. I'm going back. Let the poor soul rest in peace.
Does it look like he's resting in peace? You're just going to leave him hanging? You're an insensitive brute.
I'm here for Betty. It's tragic, but really none of my concern.
Oh, Betty, always just Betty. You don't care about anyone else. What if that was me up there? Would you care then? All you do is obsess over a scarf and a hat and ugh.
It's all I have of Betty.
Betty, there she is again. Edward, the hanged man, he's someone. No matter what he did or didn't do, he deserves respect. Would you please just do this one decent deed? If not for me, then for yourself. Or for...
When the discussion that has been driven by the sign is over, you want to hit the right bumper and you will say, I have to dig a grave. Once you've done that, inspect the body again, and you'll get told off for trying to pull him down by his legs. Inspect the chair to the left, stand on top of the chair, and then you want to inspect the noose twice to drop the guy out of the tree.
do this.
Yes, you can. Teddy. Edward. I know you can. You've been through much worse.
So now that you're done with the hanging man, you'll be automatically teleported back to the house, and it'll be evening time, and you're going to get prompted by your next dialogue discussion with Alice, and you have the choice between accident and murder.
Where are the Fretlands, Edward?
It's been 2 days. If they're not back tonight,
They're not coming back.
perhaps they left after their daughter died.
Was murdered, you mean? Isn't that what we think happened?
Perhaps she fell by accident.
So you don't think it was murder?
It's difficult to say with any certainty. The boy could have pushed her.
You're really not helping.
Can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm sorry.
You're exhausted.
I buried a corpse today, Alice.
I know. I'm sorry. Why don't you sleep in the guest bedroom?
The couch is fine. The Fretlands could still come home.
All right. Just don't come crying to me if you wake up with a crick in your neck. I'll be up for a while, if you feel like talking.
When that's done, you want to get up from the table, and then you're going to need to press the right bumper twice, and you're going to say, I really thought I'd find Betty today, and I feel restless. After you've had this discussion, turn around from the table and you'll find a letter behind you.
Anywhere?
It's just the thought of her alone out there in the dark.
She's a tough cookie. You're Betty. Tougher than you, teddy bear.
That she is. I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
What did you find?
Someone tried to burn this.
Just like the book. Isn't that odd?
It's addressed to Mrs. Fretland. My dearest Anna. It's from her sister, Margaret. Frederick's wife. The two brothers married sisters, remember?
Yes, and it's adorable. Keep reading.
I really shouldn't.
Really? How else are we going to figure out what happened? Keep reading.
My dearest Anna, I miss you so very, very much. The baby is due soon, and I wish for our family to reunite before... It's been 7 years since the dreadful incident at the mine. Can we not convince Frederick and Johann to forgive and forget? I know there are things Frederick has not told me about what they found and why they parted ways. Their grudge is tearing us all apart. Frederick won't even let me speak to half of our neighbors, accusing them of treason. He's so very angry and full of regrets. It's eating him up. And we...
And we what?
The rest is unreadable.
Margaret reached out to her sister, but I guess it didn't work.
This was written before Simon was born, but burned recently.
Once you've read the letter, you want to make your way back into the main room. So head out of the door and then go to the door opposite. And we're going to have to re-inspect some of the items we looked at earlier because the dialogue is now changed. So make your way across to the sitting room. And you want to look at the photograph on the firewall, and you want to talk about the 3 Fretland members of the family again. So the picture on the left, discuss all 3 items that you've got here.
It's almost painful to look at this photograph now. Their whole world fell apart. Ugh, I can't bear to think about it. Do you think Simon killed Ruth?
It's not important what I think.
I don't know what to believe. Sometimes children do monstrous things. Now that we know what happened to Ruth, this empty house is even spookier.
It's a house, nothing more.
You know better than most that souls can linger. Especially if they died.
There's no such thing as a soul.
Life force. Ghost. Whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The only ghosts are in our minds.
Says you.
Look to the right and then you want to inspect the wedding photo again.
The two brothers married twin sisters, Anna and Margaret Taylor. That's the Grovik stave church behind them.
All those hopes and dreams, ground to dust by misfortune.
From the wedding photo, turn around and you want to inspect the book that is by the fireplace, which is now on the chair.
I almost forgot putting this aside when I lit the fire. Wasn't there an inscription inside?
Simon. Simon gave that book to Ruth. But who burned it?
Johann or Anna, if they believed Simon killed her.
But they were friendly, right? Simon and Ruth. Before...
I imagine so. And we know the sisters were close.
I still don't understand why the brothers had a falling out.
Whatever drove a wedge between them, it was big.
Take a left from the chair and you want to take a right through the door, and then you want to re-inspect the photograph that is there, and you want to exhaust all 3 discussion topics.
It's the same photograph we saw in the store.
Except this one's whole.
So the brother who owns the store
Frederick.
was angry with Johann before Ruth. Because
of the mine. It all comes back to the mine. Johann and Frederick Fretland. Thick as thieves, before things took a turn.
Don't you always say that much of our pain is self-chosen?
I wonder about that.
The mine must have been a big deal for Greywoke.
Grovik. An opportunity to do more than live hand to mouth.
What a blow it must have been to lose it all.
You then want to reread the newspaper articles again.
These headlines make more sense now. Johann sells his share, and the cave-in occurs shortly thereafter, killing 3 people.
Including the younger brother.
The investor pulls out, leaving Frederick with the bills.
Oh, I feel awful for everyone. Losing a brother, losing the business.
There were no happy endings here.
Then from here, turn around and you want to go look at the mirror, and you want to utilize the mirror twice to get 2 more pieces of dialogue. Once that's over, you'll be able to crash out and go to sleep and make your way into day 3 and get the achievement for getting through day 2.
One of these days, you're going to fall right through a mirror into the world beyond. There's no coming back from that.
And to trigger yourself going to sleep, you want to place the hat on the mannequin in this room.
What are you doing?
Betty will want these back.
I don't think it's healthy.
Not now, please. I'm exhausted. I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
Quite the day, huh?
I'm ready to pass out. Where will you sleep?
I'll be up for a while. My mind's simply racing.
Don't stay up late. Wake me if you hear the Fretlands arriving.
Of course. And I'll keep my eyes open for any ghosts that might want to haunt you in your sleep.
There are no...
Hush now. Sleep.
Okay, so we are now in day 3, and to get this day 3 on the road, you want to exit out to the left, head left into the next room, and you want to exit out, and we're going to want to go upstairs. So make your way across to the door. We've already exhausted these discussions as well, so hitting the right bumper. Lissy will keep forming you upstairs, and she'll also say, Teddy, is that you as you get into this area?
Alice?
Go upstairs, and you want to go into Ruth's room, which is at the top, just straight across from you.
Where are you, Lissy?
In the bedroom.
Where are you?
In here.
Where are you?
I'm in here.
Alice!
I'm in here.
Where are you?
In the bedroom. This is her room.
Hmm?
Are you paying attention? Ruth. Can you imagine? One moment you're living a perfectly happy life, and then nothing. Darkness. Forever and ever.
Okay,
Maybe there's
now
something here
you've got
that
another
tells what
4
happened
right
to
bumper dialogue options. So there's still no sign of the Fretlands. What am I looking for? This is a waste of time. There is nothing here. Make sure that you click through those discussions before you do anything else in this room.
There's still no sign of the Fretlands.
Maybe they left town after Ruth died.
What's the point of this? I should be looking for Betty.
I hate you sometimes.
What am I looking for?
Anything out of the ordinary. Something that could explain what happened to Ruth.
This is real life, not a whodunit by Agatha Christie. There won't be a convenient series of clues leading to a tidy conclusion.
Says you.
This is a waste of time.
Edward, you horrid man! Sorry. Please stay. I can't stand the thought of Ruth tossed aside because you're too busy to care.
There's nothing here.
What about these drawings? They could be important.
Once the discussion's over, to your left you're going to find an image on the wall in red that you need to inspect.
Ruth was an artist.
This is very primitive.
Have you ever met a child, Edward? She wasn't Monet, she was 8. This must be the village church. That's Ruth and her family on one side of the aisle, Simon and his father on the other.
A community divided.
To the right of that window you will find another image in blue that you need to also look at.
She found something.
Where's that supposed to be?
A cave. Or the...
Mine. It could be. But what did she find?
something important enough to draw.
To your right, you will find another in yellow.
That must be Ruth and Simon's fathers.
Perhaps. They weren't on the best of terms.
They look like they want to kill each other.
To a child, maybe it looked worse than it was.
Children are more insightful than you give them credit for, Teddy Bear.
After that, you want to inspect the bed.
She made her bed that morning. Before she...
Or her parents did. It doesn't matter. It tells us nothing.
Why are you like this today? Betty's not the only person in the world that matters.
She matters the most to me.
Ain't that the truth?
And then turn around and you want to read the book that is in the chair.
Draugen.
Hey, the undead monster from those folk tales you read.
What an odd book for a child to have.
I don't know. Children love scary stories. This looks interesting. Read some of it to me, please.
In Norwegian folklore, the appearance of Draugen, the reanimated corpse of a drowned mariner, heralds death. Draugen haunts the black seas in a shattered boat. The beast has a man's body and wears a sou'wester, but instead of a head, there is tangled seaweed, and the revenant's chilling cry freezes mortal blood to ice. Draugen has the power to enter the dreams of the living. If you wake from such a dream, you have been spared, though someone close to you... That's enough of that. It's nonsense, of course. Not something a child should be reading.
Do you think Draugen took our boat? Maybe he's out there, on the fjord, waiting for nightfall so he can return to shore.
No.
Your soul lacks poetry, Edward Charles Harden. I pity you.
Now that story time is over, make your way to the other side and you'll find a next picture on the floor, and to right of that is a lockbox that you'll need to pick up.
Ruth never finished this. What does that spell? F-O-R-B.
For Banelson. The curse.
Who's that figure supposed to be? It's creepy. It looks a bit like the Draugen in her book.
A figment of her imagination. But the box she drew... It looks like this box under her desk.
Really? Let me see. Pull it out. What is this?
I believe this might qualify as actual treasure.
Is that Norwegian money?
Sort of, but ancient. Viking coins.
Are they valuable?
Not in terms of monetary value, but historically. Well, they belong in a museum.
Looks like Ruth had her own private museum.
Why would a child have these artifacts?
She must have enjoyed collecting and playing with them.
These are much too precious to play with. She should have given these to an adult.
She was a child, Edward. To her, they were just shiny toys. Wait! The pin! On the doll!
This is where it came from, her collection.
But where did she find these treasures?
If we're to believe her drawing, perhaps the mine. She may have found a gravesite. Wherever she found them, she wanted to keep them hidden.
You think someone found out?
These items wouldn't necessarily be worth much, except to a historian or archaeologist.
What if this is how... I mean, if someone learned she'd been collecting treasures, they might be willing to do terrible things. There's a story here. The treasure box, the drawings.
The overactive mind of an imaginative child.
She didn't imagine the Viking artifacts. You shouldn't be so dismissive. The drawings could be her way of dealing with traumatic events.
This is what happens when I read you the principles of psychology. You get notions.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Ruth was troubled. The village was troubled, and... Is that a bell?
The church bell. Someone's here. Maybe... Betty.
Why would Betty ring the church bell?
Perhaps she's in trouble. I need to get to the church right now.
Wait, isn't it more likely to be the person you saw the other night? We should be careful.
I told you, I'm not sure that was anything. Come on.
Go ahead. I'll catch up with you before you get there. I need a minute.
Now that the church bell has started ringing, you need to hit the right bumper twice and you're going to have the discussion, are you coming? It might be her, it might be Betty.
Are you coming?
In a minute. You go on ahead.
It might be her.
And once those discussions are over, inspect the window on the right-hand side.
I'll be along in a minute. Do you see anyone?
They must be inside the church.
So we're now going to make our way to the church, and Alice is going to catch you up in a bit. So exit the room, and you want to go down the stairs, and you want to go out of the front door. Once you're out of the front door, you want to go straight across the garden to the gate that is wide open in front of you. And the opportunity you get to go right the second time. So run down the hill, and you're going to come across the houses that you were knocking on yesterday. Take a right, and you want to follow the pathway all the way to the end until you come to a gate, and you want to go through that gate. When you are through that gate, you want to run all the way up to the top of the hill and follow the pathway to the church. As you get to the top of the hill, there is a notice board on the right hand side with a note in it. I did inspect this earlier, but to play it safe, I inspected it twice. Once you've done that, you want to go into the cemetery area, and then Alice is going to appear. Once she appears and the discussion is over, you want to hit the right bumper, and you're going to discuss the bell still ringing.
All these fresh graves. Do you think that maybe
No.
Betty...
I'd know.
But...
You wouldn't understand. Elizabeth and I, we have a bond.
God, Edward. Your obsession with her is really starting to grate.
The bell's still ringing.
Let's check inside the church.
Once you've discussed the bell still ringing, you want to make your way inside. You want to go up to the barricade. You're going to hit the right bumper again, and you're going to say, "It must be her, it must be Betty ringing the
There's
bell."
someone in there. It must be her ringing the bell. It must be Betty.
Once you've had that discussion, you want to inspect the sign that is on the wood for two things. And you want to keep inspecting the wood and the sign until you open up the doorway and you can get into the church.
Well, of course he isn't. You won't find God in a church. God is the wind in the trees, the grass between your toes, the brook that runs
That's
through.
nature, not God.
Can you peek through the boards? See anyone?
No,
Listen! The bell! They're still in there!
Hello? I heard the bell.
Oh, this is giving me
I'm
the
here to help.
heebie-jeebies.
These boards look flimsy enough to break.
Look at that. The Ethel becomes an Edward. I didn't think you had it in you, old fruit.
Be quiet. Betty? Are you here? Hello? This is Edward Harden. I'm looking for my sister, Elizabeth.
Stop shouting, Edward. We're alone. There are only ghosts here.
There are no ghosts.
I don't know about that.
That bell
So now that
still
you're inside the
rings.
main church, we need to hit the right bumper 4 times, and we're going to discuss that bell still bothers me.
First the story.
What a terrible mess. I'm no closer to Betty than I was yesterday. I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
I'm no closer to Betty than I was yesterday.
Maybe she never made it to Grovik.
Don't be ridiculous. Of course she's here. I found her scarf and her hat.
I guess.
I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
Whatever you say.
Once that's over, you want to look at the ropes that are hanging from the ceiling. And then when given the opportunity, you want to pull the bell rope twice.
This is the bell we heard ringing?
I don't see any other bells.
So you have to stand here and pull this rope to ring it.
Yes.
But there was no one here. You didn't see anyone, right?
No. No one.
Ghosts. I'm telling you, it's ghosts. So what happened to the hunchback of Grovik?
They must be here still. There's only the one exit.
Maybe it was the wind.
A church bell's too heavy. It can't have been the wind. I mean... I don't know. Maybe it was the wind. There's no one here.
I don't like that sound. Please stop.
Now, apologies here, I make a small mistake and I try to leave the church too early. Ignore what I do. So it's actually a pair of the gloves that your sister has. So don't turn around and try and leave. Turn around and come back in. And actually on the pew on the left hand side, you're going to find some gloves and you're going to talk about your sister a little bit more.
Look. Betty's gloves. They are definitely Betty's.
Oh,
She got these in Boston before she left for New York. She bought them at Woolworth. I remember the day She's here.
Where? And why would she leave her clothes lying around? It doesn't make sense.
Breadcrumbs. She's sending me a message. She knew I'd recognize her gloves, her hat. She's left a trail for me to follow, like Ariadne's red thread.
We're not in a labyrinth.
Betty will have left more crumbs.
Betty. You're turning into such a pill.
Now that you have the gloves, you want to exit the church and you're going to get 3 responses coming from Alice for leaving. And they are, what are you doing? Where are you going? Teddy, where are you going? And you can get her to trigger these by actually leaving the church. Once you've said all 3, you want to head back on into the church. Sometimes you have to run a little bit further down the path or go in and out of the church a few times for this to work. I had to run a little bit away for it to trip. But when it trips, then I head back into the church.
Where are you going?
Now that you're in the church again, you want to make your way to the back and you want to go through the metal grate. Take a left when you're on the inside and you want to go up the staircase and you want to read the sermon that is on the plinth at the top.
Their faith was challenged, and it didn't survive. I'm not leaving until I find some sign of Betty.
Whatever you say.
There will be 3 items of discussion that you need to engage with for the sermon.
What does it say?
The vicar's handwriting is hard to decipher, and the language. He talks about the village being divided for 20 years. This sermon was held on the anniversary of the accident this past summer. He's asking the congregation to help heal old wounds, to forgive, move on. Something to the effect of, you sit in separate aisles in God's house.
Like Ruth's drawing. I told you, she was perceptive.
It sounds like Grovik was split in 2, between those who stood by Johann and those who supported Frederick.
Because of Ruth?
The sermon is from before that. No, this is all about the preceding 20 years of division and disagreements. Tilly Varandra.
Edward?
Forgive each other. It addresses Johann and Frederick directly, but I wonder if they were even here.
Remember the wedding picture? They were close friends once. How could they allow their grudge to escalate until...
You call each other traitors, but the only thing you've betrayed are the bonds that unite us. Here's something else. Many of you believe Grovik was cursed 20 years ago. God has not cursed you. This curse is of your own making.
Ruth's drawing mentioned a curse. What do you think that means?
It means they believed they were cursed, and that they needed something or someone to blame for their misfortune.
Once you're done with that, you want to turn around and head down the steps, and on the left you're going to find the picture of people which you need to inspect.
You didn't believe in God.
I do believe in civility.
The final dinner.
The Last Supper. Who taught you about the New Testament?
I pick up on things. Most folks aren't heathens.
To the right of that picture there is going to be some candles on the banister that Alice is walking on. You want to inspect those.
Isn't this a fire hazard?
They're not always lit. Each candle represents a single prayer.
That's a lot of prayers.
To the right of the candles, you're going to find a mess on the floor that needs to be investigated.
They considered this a sacred place. For them to destroy it.
From the left of that mess, you want to look at the picture of Jesus, and then you want to read the scripture that is below this.
Jesus looks sad.
What reason would Jesus have to be happy?
Don't be blasphemous.
Given that this is all fiction, blasphemy is a contradiction.
Heretic. I've never seen you read the Bible before.
I've read the Bible many times. It's an important historical document. For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
Did you just translate that into Olden English?
I happen to know the verse by heart.
You still manage to surprise me sometimes.
From that scripture, turn to the right, and then just by the exit of the grate, you're going to find a church book that needs to be read.
The church book, a record of births and deaths.
So we can find out what happened to the people in the village?
And Elizabeth. I mean, if she was dead...
Her name would be in the book.
Once you're done investigating this book, you'll need to hit the right bumper twice, and you're going to say, we need to find all of the pages, and the missing pages must be here somewhere.
We need to find all the pages. The missing pages must be here somewhere.
So now you're going to be required to find 4 pages of that book. The first one Alice will find automatically. It's in the floor
How many pages are missing?
in the center of this area. Once you've got that, head back up to the sermon. It is to the right of the sermon. You'll be able to pick this one up quite easily. Once you've got this one, you want to turn around and make your way back to the painting of Jesus and where that scripture is, and it will be on the floor in that area.
Found another one. You get it. It's right here. Just one more page missing.
Now that you have that, you want to exit out of this area, and then the next page is between the second set of pews. So in the middle just here, and you want to grab that one. You want to make your way back over to the church book, and you want to put the pages into the book.
This is not a
And there'll be quite a lengthy discussion around the people that have died in this area.
Stop being so gosh darn tedious, Edward. Biddy, biddy, biddy. Will you ever shut up about your precious Betty? Put those pages back in the book, and I'll stop trying to cheer you up.
This book goes back years. It lists births and deaths. Here's the 3rd Fretland brother. The one who died in the cave-in. Someone added the word for Banelson, probably quite recently.
What does that mean again?
Curse. That word is all over this book. Not just the men who died in the mine, but other deaths in the last 20 years.
Ruth's drawing and the sermon both mentioned a curse. What do you think it means?
I don't know. There were surprisingly few births.
Perhaps they blame that on the curse as well.
Look here. Ruth Elsa Fretland. She was buried in the cemetery. And the next entry, Simon Fretland. Now this is interesting.
Simon is dead? Oh, that's dreadful.
He drowned the day after Ruth died. Probably no coincidence. See what's scribbled next to it?
Mord?
Murder.
Who killed him? Ruth's father? Or the mob that trashed the store?
It doesn't say. After the children, a half-dozen deaths in a single week.
The curse.
It's listed as the cause for every single death.
Maybe there really was a curse.
Primitive superstition. But something changed. after Ruth and Simon. It might explain why there's no one around.
Edward, if it killed everyone, how's that not a curse? What does that word say? Next to those names at the bottom. For a
Traitor.
Edward? What's wrong?
The final entry. There's no name. Alice, what if...
Oh, Edward, no.
Betty,
It doesn't mean she's...
she's not dead. She can't be. I'd know.
Teddy.
I need to see the grave for myself. It's not Betty. Betty's still alive.
Now before you exit the church, make sure you hit the right bumper to say I must find that grave.
Where are you going? Don't
And then you want to head outside and you need to hit the right bumper twice more to say where is it?
Better not be here, Betty.
It's here somewhere.
Give you.
At the same time, you must keep running around the graveyard until you sigh in frustration.
Looking. Where is it? I don't see it. It's here somewhere.
What are you going to do, Edward?
It's here somewhere.
What are you going to do, Edward?
They all look the same.
And the actual gravestone that you need to find is actually in the far left hand corner if you're looking at the church. You know it's the right one because it has a spade stuck in it, and you need to dig up the body that you find there. Lovely.
What are you doing? Have you gone completely mad? Edward, stop it!
It's not her. It's not Betty. It's not her.
Oh, Edward. What have you done?
It's not Elizabeth. I was so afraid.
You're a monster.
But I had to be sure. If Betty...
To hell with your Betty! When did she ever shed a tear for you?
Don't talk about my baby sister like
Or
that.
what? Or what, Edward? What will you do? Ignore us? Banish us? You've spent your entire life chasing her. When are you going to do something useful with what's left of it?
Quiet! Just leave me be.
Fine.
Lizzie? Alice? Come back. Don't leave me alone. Please. Come back.
Okay, so now that Lissy has disappeared,
I need you.
good job. You need to hit the right bumper several times, and you need to say the statements: Lissy, where are you? Lissy, exclamation mark. Alice, question mark. Alice, please, come back to me. Where are you? And don't leave me. So hit the right bumper a grand total, I think, 7 or 8 times, and then progress further forward down the path. Once you've done that, you can see her sat on top of the rock here. As you're going along, you need to try and have the discussions with her. However, she will disappear and end the discussion before you can even talk to her correctly. So keep following Alice all the way back to the house.
Lissy. Hey. Lissy, please listen to me. I didn't mean what I said.
Of course you meant it. Everything's always about Betty. Betty, Betty.
I care about you both.
Until it really matters. Then it's obvious who matters more.
I thought she was dead.
I wish she was!
Don't.
You deserve to be alone.
Please, talk to me.
What's there to talk about?
You can't keep running away from me.
You think you own me? That you control me? That you get to decide how I feel and what I do every minute of every day? That I'm your puppet, your little plaything? Well, fuck you, Edward Charles Harden! I never should have come here with you on this pointless chase!
Now, be reasonable.
Okay, so now we're going to come up on one of the most missable pieces of dialogue. She's going to teleport to the top of the house. You must make sure you hit the right bumper, and so Edward says, no, 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 to make sure that she doesn't jump off. I spammed the hell out of it here, and I only get it twice.
What are you doing?
Once that happens, you are now going to make your way into day 4.
Maybe now you'll learn to appreciate us.
Now listen to me. Please, listen. Hear me out. Don't do this. You can't do this to me. I need you. I'm not whole without you. I can't lose you. I can't live without you. Don't, please, don't, no. What? No! Oh, Alice. What have you done? Please, be all right. Please, don't.
You make me sick, Edward. Your mother and father would be ashamed. Elizabeth would be ashamed. They did not think you deserved their love, so they abandoned you.
Don't.
Oh, my child. We are all that you have, and we love you. We are here. With us, you are never alone. Do not forget.
No, Never. I never forget. I am never alone.
Okay, so the next day is pretty short, but it's pretty straightforward. When you wake up, you're going to be greeted by something called the Entity, and the Entity is going to have some decisions for you to make. This is primarily done in the main house.
Wake up, Edward. Stop hiding. Without us, you are nothing. You cannot hide from us.
Where's Lissy?
Alice is not here.
Bring her back. Please. I need her to...
Alice does not love Elizabeth like you do.
She loves me.
Not like I do, Edward.
I'm so tired. Please.
What do you want?
I think of you so often. You have no idea.
You just want me to forgive you so that we can keep looking for your precious, perfect Betty.
She needs us.
She never needed you, Teddy Bear. And she certainly doesn't need us.
I can't find her on my own.
That's just too bad, my darling Edward. Because we're done playing second fiddle to little sis.
Wait, don't go. I'm talking to you, Lissy. Oh.
Okay, once you are now in the room and you've got control, you need to hit the right bumper to say, Lissy, get back here. Alice, please. Don't vanish on me. Where did you go? And you need to do this before you make your way into the next room. So exhaust that part of the discussion, and then you want to make your way into the sitting room area.
Where did you go? Lissy? Lissy.
When you're in the sitting room area, make your way over to Alice and exhaust all discussion topics.
Please. Lissy? Listen, you can't keep vanishing on me.
Try me.
Why are you so angry?
You do not know anger, Edward.
Do you ever meet my father?
Alice does not want to speak with you.
Then what about you? Are you going to help me?
God helps those who help themselves.
I don't need God's help. I need Lissy.
Do you, though? Did you ever?
What? Of course,
So now you need to exit the sitting room, make your way across to the kitchen, and Alice is going to be set on the table. Make sure you go through all dialogue options again.
Don't go. Alice. Hear me out. I depend on you both.
You can never depend on other people, Edward.
I'm not sure you count as other people.
Everyone leaves, one way or another.
You don't. You can't.
Is that a challenge?
Stop playing games.
Are you ordering me, Teddy Bear?
I'm asking you.
Didn't your father always tell you to stand up for yourself? To be a real man and not a sissy? Maybe that's why he put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger. Kaboom! He was so disappointed about what his only son had turned into.
You're a monster.
Takes one to know one. Old fruit.
When the kitchen section is over, you want to exit out and you want to go right to the top of the stairs. And as you come to the top of the stairs, you're going to find Betty's coat. Now, as a golden rule with this, do not put Betty's coat onto the mannequin. Let the game do it automatically. So make your way over to the coat, pick it up.
You were here.
Do nothing with this coat. Once you've got hold of the coat, you want to make your way into Ruth's bedroom, which is directly to the right of it. And you want to exhaust the 3 discussion items with Alice again.
Lissy, I'm tired of chasing you. Alice, be reasonable. I'm trying to talk to you. Lissy, look. Her jacket. I'm sure it wasn't here yesterday, which means
Jesus Christ,
Betty was
Teddy.
here. Perhaps when we were out yesterday. She
Betty,
must have...
Betty.
You love Betty more than you love us. But don't you see? What has Betty done that we haven't? What can she do that we cannot? We've always been there for you. Why do you keep looking for her?
She's real. You're not.
So?
What? You decide what is real. We are real to you.
We'll never be the same.
Now that the discussion is over in Ruth's bedroom, exit out to the landing and you're going to have even more discussion where the entity and Lissy will completely disappear altogether.
She was sick and tired of us. She wanted to escape.
Like Mother.
Drowning herself because she couldn't stand being around us.
Like Father.
Bang! Right in the coconut.
Stop.
You drive them all away, Edward. All into death.
Please.
But not us. We're always here for you.
I beg you.
You are never alone.
Stop! Leave me alone, both of you!
You want to be alone?
You really want to be alone?
Fine. You're alone.
Good.
So now we're going to go after our next achievement and you need to keep spamming the right bumper. At the same time, this is going to get you the following dialogue discussions. Lissy, come back please. Don't leave me. I lied. I don't want you to leave me alone. I don't want to be alone. Please, Lissy. I need you. I can't do this on my own. I'm not whole without you. Please, please, and Lissy. Now you need to keep going through these dialogue options and you need to keep spamming that right bumper or the R1 button. The longer you keep at it, you'll eventually unlock yourself an achievement for being too desperate and I think the achievement's called codependent. But you keep hitting that button and you'll eventually get the achievement to pop.
I don't want you to leave me alone. I don't want to be alone. Please, Lissy. I need you. I can't do this on my own. I'm not whole without you. Please, please. Lissy, Lissy, come back. Please. Don't leave me. I lied. I don't want you to leave me alone. I don't want to be alone. Please. Lissy, I need you. I can't do this on my own. I'm not whole without you. Please, please. Lissy. Lissy, come back. Please.
Once you have been done, like that irritating ex-boyfriend or whatever, X out the house and you want to make your way down the steps, and he is going to shout Lissy at the top of his voice, and that is the end of day 4.
Lissy! Betty? Elizabeth? Is that you?
Alright, so now we are in day 5, and once you wake up, we want to hit the right bumper through 6 options. We are going to say, are you upstairs? Betty, I'm coming. I knew you were here. Wait there, I'm on my way. They didn't believe me, but I knew you were still here. I'll be right there. Once you've done that, you want to make your way upstairs.
They didn't believe me, but I knew you were still here. I'll be right there.
And at the top of the stairs, take a left and make your way all the way down to the end of the corridor. There is going to be a door that you need to bust open. So keep spamming that button away and eventually you'll break in.
Open the door. I'm coming in. Stand away from the door. Betty? No. No, 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 no. Oh. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I thought it was you, Betty. But who? Anna.
Okay, once you're done inspecting the dead body, we're going to need to hit the right bumper 3 more times. We're going to say, were you here, Betty? Did you leave me another breadcrumb? What am I missing? And then directly in front of you on the windowsill, you will find a lighter that you need to pick up.
You said this was a gift from another unlucky suitor. It was precious to you. You wouldn't have left it here unless... a signpost. A breadcrumb. But what's so important about the Fretlands? I will figure this out. I will find you. I promise.
Okay, so now we're going to get ourselves another 4 pieces of dialogue. So we want to hit that 4 times. We're going to say, I know you were here. What's the story you're chasing? Help me understand. What did you want to show me? And what's so important about this room, Betty? Once you've done that, make your way over to the letter and inspect it. And then you're going to have one more decision that you can make for your discussion.
It's from Johann, addressed to his wife. Did you notice the handwriting, Betty? He was clearly distraught. Knock, ere knock. Enough is enough. After decades of strife, I pray that God will... Tilly, forgive me. I am tired of secrets. For 20 years I've kept my silence about our discovery, but my silence has only led to misfortune, and my cowardice has only led to death. I will make Frederick pay for what he has done to us, for what they have done to our Ruth. When it is over, I will let the ocean take me to you and Ruth. May God forgive me. Anna was already dead when he wrote this. He had no one else to confess to. What now, Betty? Johann went to confront his brother, probably at Frederick's farm. And then?
Okay, once you're done reading the letter, you're going to get prompted whether farm or mine, where Betty went. And once that's done, you need to hit the right bumper another 3 times, and we're going to say the following things. Did you go to the mine, Betty? Is that you trying to tell me? Did you follow Johann to the farm? Don't worry, I'm right behind you. Once you've had those 3 discussion items, you want to exit out of the house.
Is that what you're trying to tell me? Did you follow Johann to the farm? Don't worry, I'm right behind you.
Now that you're outside of the house, we've got another 6 things that we need to talk about. So hit the right bumper and you're going to say, where is Frederick's farm? The gate, Frederick's warning the path that leads to his farm. The farm is on the way to the mine. Isn't that so, Betty? Are you still at the farm or did you go all the way to the mine? I need to see what you saw. Follow your story, the red thread you left for me. I'm on my way, Betty. So once you've done that, we want to exit out of the garden and we want to start making our way down the hill to the... Okay, so it does get a little tricky to navigate at this point here. So the gate is open, it's very snowy and it's very foggy. So you want to follow down and there is a wall on your right that you want to kind of hang along. So keep making your way down. As you come up to this intersection here, you're going to want to take a left at the intersection and you're going to go down past the stream that we were by earlier. And as you keep coming down this hill, keep sticking to the left because eventually you're going to come across a stone bridge that you need to go over. As you go over the stone bridge, it's going to take you towards the gate that was closed earlier that you said you would never jump. So cross over the stone bridge. Before you jump that gate, you want to stop here and you're going to run through some more dialogue options. So hit the right bumper to say Betty with a question mark, Betty with an exclamation mark, Elizabeth, where are you? I'm on my way, Betty. Just stay put. I'm coming for you, Betty.
Elizabeth!
Once that's done, you want to hop over the fence.
Where are you? I'm on my way, Betty. Just stay put. I'm coming for you, Betty.
Now the path at this point is fairly linear, so you want to keep following the pathway up. And eventually you're going to come across a farm that has been burnt to the ground. So make your way up to the top of the hill and you want to keep on going. Along the way you're going to have a couple of discussion items about the family. Just pick the options that you feel fit. Once that's done you should be able to up your speed and get to the top.
Something happens in the mine. Disagreements lead to a falling out. And at the end of it all, 20 years later, Johann walks this path to confront Frederick.
Now I apologise here for the dodgy cut, I get a little bit lost, but you actually need to keep following the track along, don't go into the farm just yet, and keep following the track down to the end, and on the right hand side you are going to encounter a shed. As you come up to that shed you just need to test open the door. For some reason this counts as dialogue, I'm not entirely sure why. Because there is no dialogue. Turn around from here. I'll give it a second shot just to be sure. So from here you want to kind of turn around and you want to follow the pathway along to the left and eventually you're going to encounter 2 gravestones that you need to inspect. So they're on the left hand side just here by this tree. You've got one that has a pile of stones surrounding it, and then you have the other one that looks like it's kind of freshly dug. Inspect both graves.
Simon's grave. Born December 5th, 1909, died September 17th, 1923. Why bury Simon here and not at the cemetery? His wife's grave is also here. Perhaps Frederick wanted nothing to do with the church or with their God. I could really use your imagination, Betty. You'd figure this out in no time.
Now, from there, you want to turn around and you want to start making your way to the burnt out house that's in the middle. However, you want to hit the right bumper several times here, and you're going to say, Betty, are you here, Betty? Betty with an exclamation mark. Elizabeth, Betty, where are you? And then you want to make your way around to the side of the burnt out building, and you want to come up the stairs just here, and you're going to find a safe that's in the middle that you need to interact with. As you can see here as well, I did a couple of double takes just to make sure I'd got all of the dialogue options. So the safe is just here on the ground. You need to inspect it. Now, I actually go through all 3 options. The correct option to open the safe is Simon, but to be on the safe side, I do not pick Simon straight away. I pick the other 2 options first, and then I loot the safe for what I can find.
What do you reckon, Betty? Let's try Simon's birthday. Another Viking artifact, Betty. Most likely from the same treasure Ruth found. Postmarked in Boston. That's a curious coincidence. Dear Frederick, I hope this letter, it's in English, Betty. Hope this letter finds you and the boy in good health. We're concerned about you both. No word from you for almost 2 years now. All of us still heartbroken about Margaret's passing. We know things have been difficult for you and Simon. Mr. Fretland, we expect you to take care of this problem. If the discovery is made public, the authorities will intervene and the mine will be shut down. Should this happen, we will consider it a breach of our contract, and we will withdraw our investment. You and your brother will be responsible for all debts and losses. Johann must be convinced to wall up the chamber. We have already dealt with the worker who made the discovery.
So this key is now going to let you into the locked shed that we were at earlier. So now that you've got this key, and when you're stood up and you're ready to go, we're going to hit the right bumper a few more times. We're going to say, "You're at the mine, aren't you? I'm on my way. Hold on, Betty, I am almost there." And as you're going up the path, so you want to head out to the right, and then the railway track is on your left-hand side just here. Follow that up, and then you're going to come to the shed again. You want to use the key on the shed. But as you're going up, you'll get the 2 prompts on your screen about discovery and argument. When you're inside the shed, you're going to find an article in the shed that you need to read.
Archaeological value. They argue about what to do. If the discovery is made public, it's the end of their enterprise. Johann is convinced, or paid, to walk away. Their secret stays hidden. Then, a few months later, the accident. 3 men die. The investors pull out. The mine shuts down. Frederick's up to his neck in debt.
Now that article is on the wall, and once you are done reading that article, you need to hit the right bumper a few more times, and you're going to say, "Did you see this, Betty? Were you here? And where did you go?" So that is, "Did you see this, Betty? Were you here? Where did you go?" So 3 more dialogue options whilst you're still inside this shed.
A thing like that becomes self-fulfilling. If you believe you're cursed, every misfortune feeds the delusion. Did you see this, Betty? Were you here? Where did you go?
Once you've done that, you want to start making your way out the window, and we're going to go up the path, and you're going to be prompted to pick between feud, omen, or curse. So here, pick whatever you choose, but keep following the pathway along. Eventually, you're going to find a stick on your left-hand side. That stick is your way down to the track, so head over and use it. Keep following the tracks to the right.
Ruth stumbles across the secret in the mine. After all this time, the truth may finally come to light, but she dies. The day after, Simon is murdered. It's a catalyst. Old grievances resurface. No matter who you stand with, you're a traitor.
When you hit the dead end, you want to climb up on the rocks to the right.
More people die. From disease, despair, suicides, murder. All because of the mine. Because of what they found there. And what they covered up.
And as you come up into the next area, do not jump down straight away, but we're going to go through the next 5 dialogue options. So as you come up to the area where you can drop down, he does walk very slowly through this area. But as you get there, you're going to say the following things. Did you come here to tell me? Did you come here to tell the stories? You were always braver than me. Always curious, always pushing the boundaries. Betty, Betty, if you hear me, just stay put. I'm almost there. Once you're done with that, you want to jump down into the section just here, and on the right you're going to find a warning sign that you need to investigate.
This place is cursed. Ridiculous.
Now that you've done that, head over to the mining gate, look to the floor, and you're going to find the doll's head from the body that you found earlier. Pick this one up, and you're going to have the option of picking between Betty, Ruth, or Simon, and then you will go inside the mine.
You were here, Betty. You saw Ruth. Maybe you tried to help, but she ran all the way to the cliff where... Do you know what happened, Betty? Did you witness it? Hello? Betty, are you in there? Please answer me.
Now that you're inside the mine, you're going to need to hit the right bumper another 5 times, and you're going to say, Betty, hello?
Hello?
Betty, are you here? Betty,
are you here?
Call out if you hear me.
Betty!
So hit the right bumper and keep making your way down the mine path, and you will keep reciting that dialogue. Now, as you come to the end, you're gonna see kind of like a hole, like in the wall on the right hand side with a crow. you need to investigate what you find on the floor here. So pick up the amulet and things are going to get interesting.
Betty, this is Mother's brooch. You always wore this. You wouldn't take it off unless... You left it here for a reason. What am I not seeing?
And as you look into the hole, you're going to have a bit of a situation. So you're going to get startled. You're going to fall over and you're going to knock the wood behind you. And you're going to need to run to the entrance of the mine. So look to your right and you want to sprint down. Now I don't know if you can die here, but you may or may not be able to die. You don't really want to do that. Just run to the end anyway. Don't take any chances and exit the mine.
Betty? Elizabeth? Is that...
Okay, now that you're outside the mine, we're also going to rinse a whole bunch more right bumper options. So we're going to go about saying,
Wait for me.
I'm here, Betty. It's Edward. It's me. I can hear you. Hold on. I'm almost there. Stay put, Betty. I'm coming for you. Betty. Betty.
I'm almost there.
Elizabeth. I'm on my way. Don't move. I'm coming for you.
Betty?
So go through the options, cycle through those, and then we need to just follow the waypoints along the way that the game has set for us. So to the right here, you can climb up on top of the rocks.
Don't move. I'm coming for you. Stay where you are. I'm coming.
When you're on the top of those rocks, you want to run all the way down the track and you want to keep to the right, so keep following it along. You're going to go up a slope just here, and when you reach the top of the slope, you want to jump down to the other side. You're now back by the burnt out farm. Keep following the railway tracks all the way back to the gate that you climbed over earlier.
I'm here, Betty. It's Edward. It's me.
Edward, please! Hurry!
I can hear you. Hold on. I'm almost there. Stay put, Betty. I'm coming for you. Betty? Betty!
Edward? Where are you?
Once you're over that, just on your right hand side, you can make it out in the fog is the stone bridge. You want to cross over that stone bridge. And you want to follow the dirt track up. So follow it around to the right. It is very difficult to see at this stage. You'll be by the stream and you want to keep making your way up the hill, and you need to go between the rocks. Keep going up, and when you get to this kind of top section just here, you'll see the track go off to the right. You want to take a right and head up and keep making your way towards the beacon at the top. Once you're at the top, you're going to be by the farmhouse again, and you want to make your way inside.
I'm coming!
Edward, is that you? I'm in here.
Thank God. Thank God.
When you're inside, you want to hit the right bumper twice. You're going to say, you're here, you're inside the house. Isn't that right, Betty? You're finally here.
Finally here.
Once you've done that, you want to make your way to the left and you want to go into the living room. And then you want to make your way to the right through the living room area into the room where you've been sleeping. And you can see the mannequin, and you need to interact with the mannequin with one of the choices. This is now the end of day 5.
Yeah, how long I've been looking for you. You had me so worried. I Look. Your brooch. Mother's brooch. You must have lost it at the mine. Let me put it on for you, Betty. I wouldn't want you to lose it again.
She's been dead for 30 years, Edward. Elizabeth was never here. But we didn't come for her. We came for Johann, and Anna, and Frederick, and Simon, and Ruth. We're here to tell their stories.
No. Elizabeth. She's here.
You know Betty died when she was a baby. She drowned in the pond. And you found her. You were just 11. You carried her to your mother. And your mother...
She hated you for that.
She could never forgive you for bringing her baby to her. And you could never forgive yourself for what she did after. You always forget this. Because you don't want to be alone. So you bring Betty back. Again and again. To New York. To Boston. To the house. But always just out of reach. Never quite there. The scent of her. The echo of her. But never really her. All it does is make you lonelier. But the thing is, Edward, you're never alone.
You have us.
And you'll always have us. Betty's... She was never there for you. She couldn't be. You can't lose us. We're a part of you.
Forever. And ever. And ever.
But you need to let Betty go now. There's not room for all of us in there.
I couldn't save you, Elizabeth. I'm so sorry. It is as painful to wake from a vision as it is to be born anew.
Okay, so here we are. We are in the last day. This is day 6. And hopefully if everything's been going to plan, we should pick up some serious achievements here. There's also an achievement at the end that's going to take you another 45 minutes. I will explain more in a second. Now, once you go back into this kind of sitting room area, you want to enter this room here and you want to go through this door. And then you want to head up to the top of the stairs. You want to go into Ruth's room and you want to inspect the bed. When you inspect the bed, you're going to put down the doll that you have found and you'll bag yourself an achievement for finding the doll. Now that you're done here, you want to exit out of the house. So you want to go down the stairs and you want to exit out of the door and you're going to go see Alice outside. And she's going to take you to the cliff. So let the discussion run here and then you're going to teleport across to the cliff for the next part of the discussion.
It keeps you human. We have unfinished business.
We do?
The final piece of the puzzle.
Ruth.
Come on. Let's go back to where it started. We have an appointment with a ghost.
Lissy. Nothing.
Such an amazing view, isn't it? And and the air.
Now when you're at this cliff section and she stopped talking, don't sit down straight away, hit the right bumper and you're going to say, what did you want to show me?
That sure
Now this is going to increase, give you a series of discussion that you can have. So there's going to be a lot of prompts on the screen that you just need to follow through. So you'll be asked to choose between murder or accident, was it Simon or stranger, the treasure mine, and heaven or gone.
Why did we come here, Teddy?
To Grovik? Well... to find my sister.
But Betty's not. She was never here. It doesn't make sense.
Some places have gravity.
What are you saying? Gravewick's gravity pulled us across the Atlantic Ocean?
Grovik? No, I'm not saying that. That's irrational.
But you believe it, don't you? That we were summoned to tell their story.
The letter to Frederick.
The one you found in his safe. From Boston.
I may have overheard a conversation somewhere, paid it no attention, but the name stuck. And Betty... and I spun a story around it that put us on this path.
Do you really believe that? I mean, how often are you around people?
I'm a man of science. I don't know what to believe.
And yet, here we are. All three of us.
Is this what you wanted to show me?
I wanted to be close to her. Do you believe in ghosts, Edward?
You know I don't.
Well, you've been chasing one for years.
That's different.
What about me? Us.
You're not ghosts, you're alive.
Fair enough. So what really happened to Ruth?
I believe it was an accident.
How? What happened?
Your guess is as good as mine.
All right, she ran from the mine and came here. And then... was she afraid? What made her run?
Something spooked her.
She saw Betty and... no, that's impossible. It was someone or something else. So she ran here. Why not home? She couldn't go home. Or she didn't want to. She felt safe here. This was her happy place. And then... if only Ruth had wings, like an angel, she could have flown straight to heaven. I hope she's at peace. And with God. Do you think that's where everyone's gone?
Heaven? They're dead. I don't know what that means. Maybe there is more. I can't stop you from hoping. We'll never know what happened to everyone in Grovik.
We tried our best. We'll remember them. All of them. Maybe that will give them some peace in the afterlife. Could this be your book, Edward? The one you've been wanting to write? A story about people who are isolated, left behind by the world. You can give them all a proper ending, with no annoying loose threads. Edward, is that...
Our boat? But how?
Who cares? Let's catch it before it sets out on another adventure.
I don't understand how this can be.
Draugen got tired of sailing around in it and brought it back to us.
It must have been the wind.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, teddy bear. Let's blouse, while the weather's still good.
I need my suitcase.
So get a wiggle on, old boy. I'm going to say my goodbyes to all the things. I don't think we'll be back.
Now that you're down by the boat and Alice has run off, we want to say the following things. So we want to hit the bumper several times. We're going to say, what a beautiful day.
No rush.
Look at that, the ground's finally dried up. It really is lovely here. The wind and the ocean are like music. I think I'll miss this place.
Look at that.
He'll inhale deeply and you say, the air is really invigorating. Do I feel like drawing anything today? We're in no rush, the boat's not leaving us without us. I do look forward to returning to Hanover. We shall celebrate Christmas in style this year. It's so peaceful. I feel perfectly at ease and it's not even that cold today. Now, at the same time, this is also a prime opportunity if you missed the sketches earlier in the game to go about getting them. So, I won't be showing you in this location because I picked them up earlier because it was just easier to do it in sync with the discussions. But there are 9 in total in this space. Once you've done with your discussion cycle, you'll need to pull the boat up onto the shore.
It's so peaceful. I feel perfectly at ease. It's not even that cold today. What a beautiful day.
Now that we've got the boat on the shore, we need to run up to the farmhouse. So turn around from here and you want to follow the path. So you want to sprint and you're going to sprint all the way to the top. So follow the main path, the one that you were resting on earlier. Keep going and keep running. Follow it around to the left past the stream. And as you come up to the top here by the houses, you want to take a right. You should probably be fairly familiar with this now, I could imagine anyway. And then you want to follow this path pretty much straight until you reach the house and you want to enter through the front door. Now, I am going to flag to you guys that there is a small risk you may encounter a glitch that stops you from progressing forward at this stage. It is not game breaking. You need to quit back out to the main menu. So start, quit, and it won't lose your progress, but you enter the house and you know if you've got this glitch because Alice will not talk to you correctly. This is part of the reason why I'm using this loading screen, so I can also buffer the fact that I can tell you about what happened. So yeah, if she doesn't talk to you properly in this room, you're going to have an issue. Now at this point you can hit the right bumper twice and you're going to get the dialogue, you know this house is starting to grow on me. I almost wish we had more time to dig deeper into the history of Gravik. So do that twice and also the discussion, and she'll also be dancing around in the front room. And if everything's gone to plan, you will bag yourself the achievement for having the discussions. So let Alice finish out the talking just here.
I almost wish we had more time.
Now that is one of the hardest achievements to attain in the game. It's also a bit of a pain in the ass. Make your way back into the room and you want to pull the brooch off of the mannequin. And then you want to put that into your suitcase. So grab the actual brooch. I'm pretty sure also, by the way, with the conversation thing, I went overboard. However, I covered all grounds just to be certain. You then want to pack the brooch. You're going to leave behind the photograph and you are ready to leave this town. Okay, so once you've packed your suitcase, you want to exit out of the house and you want to make your way back to the boat. So lock up that suitcase and you're going to start to make a move. So yeah, exit out the house, turn around, go through the sitting room, and then you want to exit out the front door and you want to run down the hill until you reach the boat. Now the game will automatically teleport you here and you want to make your way over to the boat and get in and you're going to bag yourself the achievement for finishing the game. There is still one more achievement to go, however, and I'll explain to you more in a little bit when the dialogue has kind of died down.
The water's still cold.
It's a fjord, Lissy, and it's almost winter.
There'll be snow when we get back to Hanover.
The house will be warm.
Are we going to be all right, Edward?
I think so.
Alright, so now this is a bit of a pain, this achievement. You pretty much now have to do nothing for the next 30 minutes. You have to leave your console sat still and do nothing. So you pretty much get in the boat, you row the boat, and you need to let them row the boat for as long as possible until it is over. So the boat rowing takes approximately 30 minutes. The screen goes black and that is all you can hear is them rowing. You know once it's over because you will hear them dock up on shore. But yeah, you can't switch off your console, you can't back out of your game and come back to it later. You literally have to leave your console stationary for 30 or so minutes. What I did, I went and watched an episode of South Park to kill the time. I'll also show you the achievement popping on my end. I'm not going to make you watch the video for another 45 minutes. I've been Drastic Ed from the Achievement Squad. If you find this guide useful, drop us a like, comment and subscribe, and happy hunting.